Hello, hello to everyone in the chat there. So, here we are, the pre-stream. This is where the main magic happens. Now, ideally we should have some people in chat. It's about, give or take 9 minutes until the stream begins. And you know what, I'm really happy that everything worked out, to play straight away. Fantastic. Hello there, YGBSM. That is probably one of the most interesting names I've seen. What does that actually stand for then? But greetings, how are you doing, my friends? You know, it's really interesting. I didn't think we'd ever be doing a stream of War in the Pacific, so this is fantastic. Hello there, Red Star. Sup there, Darkman. It's nice to see you guys again. It's been a long time, hasn't it? But at least I have a better microphone now, so that's definitely a much better situation. Hello there, guys. So the best part of today is there will be a giveaway, which is going to be fantastic. So one of you lucky viewers will actually have your own copy of War in the Pacific. You just bought the game? That's pretty awesome. Motto of the Wild Weasels. I like that. Though I have no idea what the Wild Weasels are, I'd imagine that's probably film, TV, something of that nature. Yes, this game is pretty fantastic. I do have an ongoing play-by-email game between myself and the Historical Gamer over on my own channel, if you'd like to see more of this game. Alright, that's pretty interesting. Well, you learn something new every day, don't you? So how are you guys doing then? You've never seen War in the Pacific, oh my, you're going to be in for a treat here. Now, I do have to point out I am using some mods here. Not really heavy mods, really. There are mods that do dramatically change the game. The ones I'm using here at the moment really only relate to the actual graphics of the game here, which is fantastic. It definitely changes the appeal of this game. But yes, I've got to say that if you do like Grigsby games, yes, ChemKid's maps, fantastic. I don't know what happened to him. I need to try and find him again, because he did some custom work for me, which was really nice. Like, he actually did do a little bit custom work for me, which was actually changing how some of these ships would look on the map, which was nice. Hello there, Lupus. How you doing, my friend? Konnichiwa indeed. Right. So today, I mean, how many years ago today was the event that kickstarted the war? The attack on Pearl Harbor. So definitely the right game to be playing here. And this is by no means a casual game. This is a game that you could legitimately play for a few years if you wanted to do a turn every single day. And you know what? I love that. Right, we have about 6 minutes here. Hello, Jaculus. It's been a little bit of time since I've seen you, my friend, so I hope you're doing well. I miss those days of trying to beat back the Soviets as we were trying to keep them away from Berlin, which we did manage to pull off in the end, even as, yeah, things were beginning to collapse dramatically. So let's see what we can actually do here. We do have a couple hours actually to play, which is really fantastic. My limit is about 9 PM, so we'll see what we can do. Yes, we will begin with the attack on Pearl Harbor. Exactly. Indeed, we will begin with the attack on Pearl Harbor. What we'll be doing today then is we will be playing the Grand Campaign. So how this will work is there's two different versions. There's a version when you actually have the ability to implement your own orders. Everything is done by hand, and obviously you can set everything up as you would like. Though the version we are playing today is the version I would recommend for most people, in which the actual first turn is taken care of by the AI, things are already placed, and things are already in motion. Yeah, not bad at all, isn't it? Yeah, we'll finish the Grand Campaign today. I know, right? This is going to be good. About 5 minutes to go here. I did try and find the actual War in the Pacific music I have on my machine, but I can't bloody find it, you know. Which is a shame. So we'll have to go with the War in the East, West, and some Bombing the Reich music. We will be playing as the Japanese Empire. I'd say the reason for that is really Yeah, to have a really good insight in how this game works. We could have played as the Allied forces, though I think when it comes to this game, we really need to give people an idea of just how magnificent it is, just the amount of complexity that playing as the Japanese Empire does bring about. But it doesn't have to be. Yes, the devil is in the detail, that's the best way to put it. Hello there, ED, how are you doing, my friend? I do hope you guys are well. I mean, the weather has been absolutely awful here today, so I'm pretty glad it's sort of chilling out a little bit, which is nice. Hello, Vocola. Yep, you could watch things. Hello there, Gooper. But yes, you are quite correct. With computer, you can obviously watch, which is not a bad way to actually learn, to be fair. It's always rather interesting to see how the AI does things, and most importantly, I think when it actually comes to learning is to understand why you would do something. Hello there, Telemonian? How you doing, my friend? Van Bishop, that's the name I recognise. Three minutes, not long at all now. I do dearly hope everybody's doing well. I'm genuinely excited here, I'm sure you guys will be as well. My first play-by-email game told me one thing about this game: do not go after Kiributai with your US laptops in 42. Oh yes, you'll not come out well there. At the end of the day, Kiributai has a great advantage. Analog knobs and dials. I know, right? So I've had to do a few modifications to get this game to run in 1920 by 1080. So this is not how vanilla would look. If you guys want to head over to my channel afterwards, I would be happy to answer any questions. If you guys just comment on one of the more specific videos, then I'll do my best to absolutely help you out there. And again, we do have a sale on over here at Matrix. So this game is heavily discounted, which is really worthwhile. Well, this one is currently a one-shot, but if you guys actually ask Matrix enough, then who knows, this could actually be a series. Again, it all comes down to asking the right people. This is in honor of, obviously, the historical date. To honor, obviously, those who lost their lives, and really the actual historical precedent that it did indeed set. I mean, if you guys are looking for a series, I do have one on my channel at the moment. Again, I would say about Lupus, if you ask the folks over here at Matrix and Slytherin, the game is normally around about £60. It's now down to about £21, I think it is. Oh, that's fantastic, great night. So 1 more minute here, and we'll be ready to go. This is going to be great. I hope you guys have enjoyed the pre-stream. As always, this is the magical part. Just a few seconds now. I do hope you're all excited. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admiral's Edition. Now, today, in honor of the absolutely incredible date in history, we will be playing Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific. We will be playing as the forces of the Japanese Empire. The reason for this is to better showcase the game. But what we're going to do today is actually go through a few hours of Grand Campaign. The reason for this is so we begin with the attack on Pearl Harbor, which is going to be rather interesting. Now, there's going to be some differences here between Vanilla War in the Pacific. I am using a mod here that does definitely change and make the map significantly more beautiful. It's easily found, if you head over to the Matrix forums. So yes, as I said, we will be playing through the Grand Campaign here. So let's get started then, shall we? Now we have a range of options here. For example, there's the Battle of the Coral Sea, which is a small scenario, Guadalcanal, the 1,000-Mile War. There's different options for the actual campaign, but this is the one that we will be taking a look at today. The Grand Campaign covering the entire Western Pacific from the start of the attack on Pearl Harbor up to March 31st, 1946. So yes, you can play through every single day of the Pacific Campaign, and I am not kidding when I say that. So, Nagumo's first air fleet has been at sea since November 26, 1941. On the 3rd of December, Nagumo refueled, and the point of no return had been reached. Kidibutai was committed to the attack. The time for negotiations had passed. On December 4th, the first of the invasion fleet sorted and sailed towards their objectives. By now, December 7th, the first of 2 waves of strike aircraft should be approaching their target, Pearl Harbor. All that is left to do now is wait. As the supreme commander of Japan's war machine, you must seize the southern resources area and secure for us the raw materials we require to pursue our destinies as the leading Asian nation within the greater East Asia co-prosperity sphere. Further, you are required to establish a defensive perimeter of bases in which to repulse any attempts by the West to reclaim what is rightfully ours. While doing so, crush all opposition. We must be in a position of strength to withstand the weight of Western industrial might. So, that is the little bit of a historical briefing. Let's take a look at the game, shall we? Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty incredible, really. Indeed, Tora. Hello, Slack, how you doing, my friend? So how this is going to work is the Grand Campaign, as the Japanese, does start with basically under wraps. So what we're doing here is we're just going to take a quick look at how things are set up. So you can see here, we do have all of our actual forces in position already. Now, what we're going to do over here is take a look at the task forces. Now, look at the date, December 7th, 1941. We have 85% moonlight here. Now, there's not many games out there that actually factor in the level of moonlight, and that is going to make a big difference. So, what we're going to do here is take a look at Kidibutai. Indeed, this is Admiral's edition. So we have the carriers Kaga, Hiru, Soru, Shokaku, Zuikaku, and Akagi. Oh, don't worry, mate, this is a fantastic game. Now, something I really want to point out here, just to give you guys an idea of the scale of this game. You see this yellow box here? This is a 1920 by 1080 resolution monitor. This is everything I can see on my game at once. Now, I just want you to bear in mind that size, and then just take a look at the actual sheer scale of this map. This is a game that is unsurpassed in really raw scale and complexity. And you know what? It's not that hard to learn. It's one of the games where if you dive in, you will learn, and you will love every minute of it. So let's take a look at the Greater Empire then, shall we? So you can see here we have the home isles of Japan. We have obviously our possessions here in Korea and Manchuria, and then of course the war in China. Now the game does abstract the warfare on the land to a certain degree. What you've got to imagine is this game is covering a huge chunk of the Earth's surface here. So you will see things represented as, well, these squares here, but this will make more sense soon, don't worry about that. And what's that big desert in the bottom left? Yes, you mean Australia. Okay. So what we're going to do then is we are going to take a look over here at Kidibutai. So you can see, they are geared to head towards Pearl Harbor. Now, how this game works is you can have some optional rules known as December 7th Surprise. So what this means is basically certain Japanese task forces can move up to 20 times their normal movement. So Kidibutai will be arriving just off the coast here of Hawaii, and they will then proceed to launch their attacks. Now, we do have an option here of really changing in the order should we wish to. But what I want to point out here is, well, namely we have these submarines here, which I would like to put on some actual reactions. There's a lot going on here. A heck of a lot. But we're not to do this yet. This is really just to highlight how this would look if you were to play the turn yourself. What we're going to do is actually see the AI run this, and then we'll go from there. So So what I'm going to do is go to the actual scenario selection. And we're going to go to December 8th. Now what this means is basically the first turn is already planned for us. And this is where we get to watch the action unfold and pick up the, I suppose, pick up the baton from there. Yesterday, surprise attacks against the American fleets at Pearl Harbor. Indeed. Let us begin. Now, the level of detail here is fantastic. Truly worth picking up for any wargamer. Rightio. So if we take a look over here then. So we begin December 8th here. Okay. So we have much to do. And if I take a look over here, we should have our forces in position. Right, so Kitawutai should be on station. Yep, here's Kitawutai. So what we want to take a look at then is actually the combat report. So we do have a few options here. Okay. What we'll do actually is, I know it seems a little bit silly. I had thought to actually have the campaign begin on December 8th, but what I'm going to do here is actually, we'll go back and we'll play this ourselves actually. The reason for this is how best to showcase the game than to actually play it. So what we're going to do then, as it is in honor of Pearl Harbor, is we're going to begin the attack on Pearl Harbor ourselves. Now there's a lot to do in this game, and I'm not kidding about that one. But I'm going to take you guys through how to actually set up the first turn here. So, welcome to December 7th. Now we have our forces over here of Kitawutai. What we're going to do first of all is actually take a look at this UI here. So you can see the name of the task force, you can see its mission here, you can see its movement, you can see its fuel. This relates to the amount of hexes it can cross. We have the total number of aircraft here on board. So if we take a look at this, we can sort by actual model of aircraft. We also have the actual squadrons. So for example, we have a Cargi 1. We can see that we have the A6M20 here. We can see the patrol levels, we can see the altitude setting, we can see the missions. We can see the commander. We can also take a look at the actual data regarding the aircraft. So this information here relates to the actual altitude band as well as maneuverability. We can see the gun value, and there's a lot of detail. There's a lot of detail here, and it is going to seem rather overwhelming if you're not used to this. Now, I had thought to actually have the AI play out the first 10 for us, but you know what? I think we'll have it run ourselves. I think this is the best way to do this. So, what we're going to do then is actually begin by setting up the attack on Pearl Harbor. Okay, so we're going to turn off retirement allowed, and we're going to have them remain on station. Now, we have a max reaction here. What this means is it's like how many hexes this task force will react to if an enemy approaches. We're going to have this set to 1. I don't want them really going off half-court. Now, what I want to do as well is take a look at the actual altitudes of these aircraft. So, for example, we'll take a look at the Squadron of Cargo 1, so the A6M20s. Notice that we have an option here to give them drop tanks should we choose to. If I give them drop tanks, their range extends to 14 hexes. Now, each one of these hexes is roughly 40 miles, so that is some significant range. We can see here they're targeted towards Pearl Harbor. They are set to attack the airfields. What I'm going to do instead is actually have them on escort only. The reason for this is I'd rather not lose these A6M20s. At least not on the first day. Our bombers will be able to get through there. They will not need the escorts and fighters really to head out and attack the airfields. What we're going to do, however, is change these actual patrol levels. So, CAP stands for Combat Air Patrol. We also have Long Range Combat Air Patrol, their level of training, and the amount of the squadron that will be on rest here. Yes, the Imperial Japanese Navy and Army, just the Empire in general, is so bloody awesome. I've got to say that, yes, I feel right about my choice here. I was, as I said, going to have the AI run this, but you know what, I think we need to do this. Yeah, we are going to try and change history. We are going to have a much, much more successful December 1941. So what we'll do here then is we are going to increase the levels of Combat Air Patrol Though, frankly, we'll go with the long-range combat air patrol. We'll have this about 20%. The rest will be left here. The reason for that is this will leave about 80% of the squadron available to escort. So we'll do that. This long range, actually no, we'll make this short range. We will, actually no, we'll leave them all to escort. We won't be facing any resistance from American aircraft, though actually I'll have 10% of the squadron here running combat air patrol around the carriers. Now I'm going to change the altitude as well. I'm going to change this to about 20,000 feet. The reason for this is if you take a look over here. So this is their maneuverability below 10,000 feet. They have 33 points of maneuverability. At 10 to 15,000 feet, they have 33 again. At 16,000 to 20,000 feet, they have 27. At 21 to 31,000 feet, they have 21. At 32,000 feet plus, they have 10. Now, of course, they have a maximum altitude of about 32,000 feet here. Their climb rate is about 2,640 feet per minute. So, yeah, we're not going to be flying too high. There's not really much point here. We don't have any armor. The actual platform has 22 durability, which is worthwhile. The service rating relates to how difficult it is to actually service this aircraft. As we do advance later into the war, you will see aircraft with a higher service rating. Oh, don't worry about it, Fluffy Bunny. It's going to be amazing. Just absolutely trust me on this one. This is going to be a game that is going to change your life. And the best part is it's on sale for about £20 odd now. And that is a absolute bargain, in my opinion. If you think about this game in terms of hours invested versus actual cost, it's incredibly worthwhile. Yes, indeed, we can take a look at the actual individual pilots here. You can actually see their experience, service experience, air. So these are basically their skills, how you measure their experience, and basically competency. So you can see here, at fighting, they are pretty competent. We do have a Sada C over here, which is, well, he's actually fairly competent here in the air. He's the best dogfighter, it would seem. Then we have naval bombing, naval torpedo bombing, naval search, reconnaissance, anti-submarine warfare, transportation, ground bombing, yep, and then we have low level, yep, that'll go strafing, and defense. Okay. Rightio. So what we'll do then is we'll have all of the A6M20s in this actual task force set to 20,000 feet, set to escort, and 10% of the squadrons to be set on combat air patrol around the carriers. It's going to be amazing. Trust me about this. Okay. So we have our 0 set up. What we're going to do now is take a look at the D3A. These are the D3A1s, I do believe. Or the D3A... Yes, the D3A1 Vals. So we take a look at their actual default loadout, which is a 250 kilogram bomb. General purpose bomb. They're okay, but not exactly great. So what we're looking at here then is basically what we'll be doing the dive bombing, so to say. If we take a look at the actual pilots, we do have some rather competent. Now, dive bombers, we'll have them, right, yes, we'll have them fly about 10,000 feet. I believe below 10,000 feet you have them fly a non-horizontal, they're basically swooping. But I believe at 10,000 feet they will fly horizontal, and then these will of course dive. You should trust me, don't worry about that. Okay, so we're not, well, we do have 10% of the squadron currently searching at the moment. What we're going to do here though is we're going to turn that off for the time being. How much of the details do you need to understand and account for to play the game? You don't, well, how to actually say it really. You could play the game without much prior knowledge. At the end of the day, you do have an entire economic simulator here as well under the hood. Though the thing is, you're not going to immediately lose. It is going to take some time for you to lose it as Imperial Japan if you don't do anything. But at the end of the day, you do gain a lot of experience through that loss. It's a hard actual question to answer really. Because in my opinion, the best way to learn is to play. Yeah, lose a lot and learn. Exactly. Okay, so 10,000 feet. Notice their range here is only 7. So, yep, that's fine by me. Everybody is set to attack Pearl Harbor. Yep, they're all set to port attack. Now, what we're going to do is take a look at the B5 N2 Canes. Now, these are our torpedo bombers. Now, this being red here indicates that they don't all have enough torpedoes, unfortunately. So what I can do here is actually take a look at the carriers. You can see here, torpedoes, we have 45, so we should have enough. We should have enough. They're complaining, but they should be okay. The task force itself, yeah, they like to complain. Yes, okay. I'm sure they're going to have enough torpedoes. This game is not granular enough for me. One of the pilot's wife names one of their favorite colors. Okay, let's go back here. So they're set in, yep, see they're set at 9,000 feet. What this means is basically they will dive, well, they'll basically fly like this and then attack. Obviously releasing their torpedoes. I'm happy with these. What we are going to do, though, is change the actual range here down to 7. What I want them to do is basically coordinate with the others. So what we'll do then is set all the B5N2 Kates in this task force to work together. Indeed, we'll set all torpedo bombers. Okay, so that's good to go. What I'm going to look at now is actually the float planes. So we do have a number of ships over here, such as the battleships and the heavy cruisers. How long does it take to end a turn in this game, if you know the mechanics? Well, I'm running here with a graphical mod, which is easily found, and if you head over to my channel, I will definitely give you the link to it, or I could actually give you just my mod folder, so you could definitely take a look. So that is a good question. How long does it take to end a turn in this game, if you know the mechanics? Well, in the play-by-email game that I'm doing, I went a little bit overboard and I spent around 15 hours, but that was me basically streaming it and talking through everything. A competent player could make some very good decisions and get through things rather quickly in about 4 to 5 hours, which I know sounds mad, but that's basically going overboard and making sure everything is set up. However, if you want to do a turn, then you can do it as quickly or as slowly as you like. It depends on what you want to do. I know it sounds like a long time, but trust me, this game is well worth the effort. So what I'm going to do here is increase the amount of planes in the squadron that will be out searching. They're going to be down at 6,000 feet where they'll be able to spot ships and other forces rather easily. I'm going to change them to reconnaissance mission. And what we'll do here is we will have them actually reconnaissance over Pearl Harbor. Yes, there we go. Exactly. Right, so I'm going to set all float planes to do this. Now, I could give them the mission to fly at night, but what we're going to do is actually have them just remain in the day. The attack will take place in the day, so we don't need to worry about that. They'll have that set up fantastic. Now, let's take a look at our heavy cruiser here. We do have different models of float planes. So we have the E13A1 Jank over here. Now, these are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Their range is awesome. They have ridiculously good range, and I love it. So what we're going to do then is, yes, search at 50%, so we'll have half a squadron head out, and they're targeted on Pearl Harbor. Good. The reason we're going to be doing this reconnaissance is it will help us to identify targets. Yes, the beautiful convoy system. I love it myself. Okay, so we do have a number of destroyers here. We have the heavy cruisers Tone and Chikuma, Abukuma, the light cruiser Hiei, and Kirishima. Right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to change the actual destination. So let's take a look at where Kiributai is going to be heading first and foremost. We'll take a look over here at Hawaii. Okay, so I want to be about 4 hexes, give or take, away from Pearl Harbor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll head about here. Okay. Have you given a destination of about, we'll say about here, and then we are a little bit further away from that island. So on the first turn, Japan receives a bonus here, basically where certain task forces will move 20 times their normal movement. There's a very low chance for the actual defending squadrons to actually scramble. And yeah, it is a pretty awful turn for the Allied forces here to represent the surprise attacks. Yes, they have a cruiser Maya. Evening there. How are you guys doing? Okay. So we have the attack on Pearl Harbor basically geared up already. We do have the replenishments over here. Yep, they're already under orders. I'm going to turn off their... Yep. You're going to head towards Midway. I do have the Midway Bombardment Task Force over here. What I'm also going to do is... range can also be measured by clicking on a hex and then pointing a cursor to a new hex. Range will be... I actually didn't know that one, so that's also fantastic. I tell you, this is the beauty of this game, is you learn something new every single day. Right, I'm actually going to give the Oiler an escort. Okay, Task Force 141. There we go. So that's very good. She'll have an escort now, so I won't have to worry about her too much. Right. Okay. So we have the actual strike on Pearl Harbor setup, so that's looking good. Now, what we have to bear in mind here is the economy of Japan. Now, this is going to look very confusing, but trust me, it does make sense, and there are actual, well, I'd say programs out there to make things significantly easier. But what we're going to do is take a look at the aircraft manufacturing. So we have the different models of aircraft that we're producing here at the moment. So if we take a look, we have the A6M2 production at Mabashi. So you can see here, we are currently producing 56 aircraft a month. Now how this works is you have a certain amount of heavy industrial cost that is needed to produce the actual airframe, and then you have a cost to produce the engines, and then a cost obviously to combine them. Well, the cost is obviously them combined. Okay, congratulations there, guys. Right. What I'll do here is show you guys how you go about expanding your industry, really. So what we'll do is expand this to about 100 just to begin with. I suppose this is going to seem like a glorified tutorial, but trust me, we will get through things fairly quickly. We're just going to set up some relatively simple orders. We're not going to go too in-depth, but I'm just going to show you guys how you can actually play through the first turn. And also we will of course see the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's going to be great. So if we take a look over here, you can see that Mabashi only has 5,620 tons of supplies, which is not a huge amount. But that's fine, we can sort that. So that is going to increase the amount of A6M2 production to 100 aircraft a month. Now, of course, what we need to do here is go to the engines. The A6M2 uses the, what is it? Yes, the Nakajima HA35 engine. So you can see here, currently we produce on 180 of these bad boys a month. Okay, so what we'll do here, just to get a little bit more information, is take a look at our aircraft and engine production pool. Okay. So if we take a look at this, we can see the engines that we currently have in pool. I feel like I've ever Led Zeppelin. That's awesome. China's big, far too big to totally control once they cut off negotiations with the nationalists. Hard to think of Britain trying to bodily control all of Europe at once, isn't it? Well, yeah, I suppose so. Indeed. Thank you for that clarification. Right, so if we take a look over here, what we're looking for then is, let's see, I'm going to turn off the... Actually, no, we'll sort by the engine type. Let's find ourselves, yes, okay, so we have the A6M2 here. So at the moment, we only have 26 of these aircraft in reserve. We do have 166 engines in reserve here, which is going to be quite handy. We will, of course, need more of those. So what we'll do then is we'll just go about increasing the Nakajima HA35 production. So again, this is just simply to show how this would be done. So as you can see, this is going to increase the actual amount of engines being produced. It will obviously take some time to do so. Now, what we need to do here... I'm trying to think of the best way just to show you guys how to get going. But what we'll do is we'll take a look at heavy industry. So you can see these are all our centers with heavy industry. I'm going to sort them by size. So you can see here, Tokyo, Osaka and Kyoto, Nagoya, Yokohama / Yokosuka, amongst others, are our industrial centers. Tokyo and Kyoto being our major industrial heart. So you can see here we're producing 5,460 heavy industry. Indeed. 3,900 here. So, this is what we need to keep supplied. Tokyo needs to have resources. They also do need to have supply as well to make sure everything runs smoothly. So what we're going to do here then is actually go into this interface of the actual city here. And we're going to increase the amount of supplies they require to about 5,000. Okay. Well, actually, we're going to be a little bit... yeah, we'll go to about 10,000 for these major centers. Over here as well, we'll go to 10,000 in Kyoto. In fairness, what we'd be better off doing is actually going through each and every city in Japan with industry and actually making sure they have enough supply. So we'll give them all 5,000 supply, and that will make sure everything goes pretty well. Now, I can imagine this is a big shock for new players, as it looks like such an arduous task, but trust me, you stick with this game, and this game will reward you. It is honestly worth the effort. Okay, 5,000 supply here as well. Then again, let's see, do you have any heavy industry? No, only light industry, so that's fine. We'll just have these centers with the heavy industry supplied first and foremost. So we'll go over here to Kyoto. Yeah, 10,000 supply. Nagoya. It's funny actually, I'm so used to explaining this game. It's really hard to explain it so simplistically. And I'm not trying to come off as like some kind of snob here. Honestly, I do love this game, and I do want to see more people playing this game. It's so very worthwhile. Tell me about it. That'll be awesome. Okay, we'll make sure each of these heavy industrial centers have a decent amount of supply, and then we'll be able to go from there. This is to make sure that they keep producing to the following turn. Right, Kobe is done. And Nagasaki is done here. I'm just clicking on the same ones here. Whoops. Fukuoka? Fukuoka? No, I really do butcher the pronunciations of these names, so do forgive me. Okay, we do need supplies over here. We also are going to have resource storage here. This is going to make more sense soon. Trust me on that one. Hiroshima. Okay, that will do. Right. So how this works is I'm going to bring up the actual drawing tool here. To actually keep the Japanese economy running, you have to bring resources into the empire. You also have to bring oil into the empire to be converted into fuel. So we have a number of sites from which we need to transport raw resources, such as Shanghai, Port Arthur, Kijo, Fusan, Toyohara, Sapporo. This one I always forget the name of. Hakodate, I believe it is. And yeah, these are the major... basically the major ports from which you will be taking resources from the Empire and having them brought home. So what I'll do here then is actually draw the... so think of the red as the exports, and yellow will be where you'll import them. So these are the naval bases, well, the ports actually which these resources will head to. So what I'm going to do is draw things out so you guys can clearly see it and you get an idea of how the game works. So we'll have obviously the import in red, sorry, the export in red, import in yellow. What I'll do is use blue here just to draw these shipping lanes. So for example, resource convoys from Shanghai will head over here to Nagasaki. Resource convoys from Port Arthur will head over here to Shimonoseki. The rest from Fusan, basically from Korea, will head over to this base here. Toyohara heads down this way, along with Sapporo. Yeah, Hakodate to Ominato. This one to Iwaki. So this is basically how the convoy system does work in the game here. You do have to set these convoys up, and you basically have to get these resources into Japan, into these industrial centers. They basically need to go to Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. And this is how you keep the economic heart of Japan beaten. Now we'll go through that. But first and foremost, yeah, I'm going to say that I've got a limit about 3 hours tonight, and it's it's nowhere near enough time. So what I'm going to do here is basically go through the absolute basics, make sure you guys know how to play the game and reasons for why to play the game. And we'll be able to see the attack on Pearl Harbor, and you know what, when we actually do get to that point, it is going to be amazing. Hello there, Paul, how you doing, my friend? Okay, so let's take a look around the Empire at large, and actually take a look at the actual theatre here. So, we do have a Chinese theatre. Now, you see all of these red boxes and the yellow boxes. Each one of these represents, basically units on the ground. Boots on the ground, so to say. So, the war in China, the Sino-Japanese War, has been going on for some years now. And we need to achieve a victory here. So, how would one do this to achieve a victory in China? Well, basically, you need to control these rail lines. These rail lines are the heart of the Chinese campaign. Without these bad boys, yes, you cannot win here. This is how you move your units. This is how you move and survive in Japan. Well, basically survive in China. It's one of these games really where if you like spreadsheets and if you really like to burn through your free time, you will love this game. But the Chinese campaign can be won. Now, how would we attempt to do this? It's really going to come down to actual organization. Indeed, there we go. YGBSM is given a link there to a first turn spreadsheet. Okay, so let's take a look at Shanghai. A very important city here in China. Now, the reason I selected yes on this resource storage is basically, if we take a look over here, we have, let's see, resource production there, 20. Yes, this is a single player. There's also play by email. So, yep, you are more than capable of playing against human opponents or the AI. Oh, you will love this game, man. If you love spreadsheets, you will love this game. This is not a game, it is indeed a way of life. So if we take a look over here then, so we do have a number of cities that do have resources. Let's see. Heavy industry here, light industry. Where are my resource producing centers? Okay, so Hangzhou produces 100 resources here. Now how this works is we have 100 resource centers and one resource center produces 20 tons of resources each day. So what you can think about this is 100 times 200, well sorry, 100 times 20. And that's the amount of resources you'll get out there each and every single day. Hello there, T-1, how you doing, my friend? So what you need to do is basically have all of these resources feed down into these export ports. And this is why we're telling the port of Shanghai to begin stockpiling resources, so that we can actually have convoys heading here, and then pick those up, and then take them back to Nagasaki, back and forth, back and forth. Now, Port Arthur is another one of these. Now, what I want to point out as well is the size of the port here. So we have a size 9 port. This is a very important thing. This dictates how great the tonnage of a task force that can be docked. So, for example, 172,000 tons here, or slash 78,000 tons. So I do believe that is the largest ship that could be docked here. Now, there are no ships that are 78,000 tons. So basically, any ship here can dock, as long as it's within the actual docking limit, which is a very important thing that will definitely make a lot of sense once we do hit Pearl Harbor. You'll trust me on that one. Notice we also have a shipyard. This represents the amount of shipyard repair capability here at Port Arthur, which is very important. So what we'll do here then is turn on the resource storage, as well as over here to Guizhou. Okay. Now, I apologize if this sounds a little bit rambly. I'm trying to figure out how best to explain the game mechanics. I figured it's probably for the best that if we go through the mechanics of how to play the game. And then when we do start playing, when we do see the attacks on Pearl Harbor, things are definitely going to feel like they make a lot more sense. Okay. Now, I don't really need to particularly stockpile here considering they produce it, but we'll have them stockpile nonetheless. Actually, no, we'll not stockpile here, we don't need to. The reason for that is they produce locally anyway. Yep, so that's fine by me. Okay. Now, what I want to do here in Japan is turn on stockpile and resources here in Osaka and Tokyo. This is where we want these resources to head. So what factions can you play? Basically, you have the Japanese Empire and the Allies. So the Allies consist of the British Empire, the Dutch. We also do have the Chinese involved in this. We also have later the Soviet Union, which is involved in the war from certain dates, or unless Japan actually takes too many troops out of Manchuria. We of course do have the Americans, we do have the Canadians, we have New Zealanders, we have the Australians. We also do, in some small measure, have the French involved, as they're French possessions here. So yeah, you basically get the entirety of the Allies in the Pacific. Learning this game is like eating an elephant, exactly one bite at a time. That is the best way to describe things. Okay, so what we've got set up then is already the attack on Pearl Harbor, which is going to go ahead. So no matter what we do here, that will go ahead. Now, what I'm going to show off here is the submarines. Japan had a lot of submarines around Pearl Harbor, obviously once conflict started. It is a strategic game, so you basically play either side in its entirety while the Pacific. Yep, that is correct. So if we take a look at the I-8, now notice that this is a submarine equipped with a floatplane, which does make a massive, massive difference here to its ability to actually discover targets. So what we're going to do then is increase the amount of search it will do. There's only one plane in the actual squadron, so it's one of these things of, yeah, he's going to have a busy time. But if we take a look at the actual submarine, you can see here that we do have these torpedoes. So we have a long lance torpedoes. We also do have a 14cm deck gun, as well as a 25mm AA gun. So we can see the range of the deck gun, the penetration, and its ammunition. Now, 893 penetration basically represents like how much penetration the actual weapon has. I do believe that most battleships do not have anywhere near, well, yes, they have nowhere near that level of armor. So what I'll do is actually take a look over here. We'll find ourselves the Congo. Somewhere around here. Yep, here we go. So we have Congo and Haruna. So if we take a look at Congo, we can see she's a very beautiful ship here. We can also see her weapons. We can see her belt armor, deck armor, and tower armor. So if you take a look over here, she has 200mm of belt armor. So a torpedo would definitely penetrate that armor. It's going to have absolutely no trouble doing that, which is rather impressive. Indeed, the Silverian holiday sale is on and is definitely worth checking out. So that's good to know. Basically, if they can get a torpedo into the side of the ship, they're very, very capable of killing. Talking about penetration. Indeed. So what we're going to do here then is go throughout all these ships here, all these submarines, and we're going to set them up. We're going to set them up to patrol around Hawaii. So what we'll do then is we'll set up a rather close, I suppose you could call it a blockade, because it really is in that respect. However, we do have something to consider. Now, the Allied forces, the Americans, did have carriers near Pearl Harbor. They were expected to be here, and unfortunately, the Japanese did not find them. Or rather, fortunately, they didn't find them. However, from what I know of history, there should be a carrier somewhere around here, and a carrier somewhere around here. I believe the other one is back in the US. So we do begin the game with the option of trying to hunt down the American flat tops, which we're going to try to do. So how we're going to do that, I hear you say, is, well, we're going to find them. So we're going to begin the hunt. All I'd like to do here is have them set on patrols. The reason for that is when I press the 6 key, I can actually see where they will end up. Now, what I want to point out here is... Okay, we have the different type of terrain over here. This is rather important. So let's go over here to Malaysia, basically to the Dutch East Indies, and take a look. So we have ocean shallow, we have ocean deep. This makes a difference. Submarines suffer more in shallow waters. They operate much better in the deeper oceans where they can obviously go deeper when they dive. When they're in shallow waters, yeah, they have a rougher time against like anti-submarine warfare. So that's something to really take into consideration. Of course, we do have different kinds of terrain, such as clear terrain, which is obviously the best kind of terrain, which is really worthwhile. Something else to consider is the weather. So if we take a look at Pearl Harbor, we can see that the weather is clear. If we take a look across the theater, which I can do over here, we can see that we have clear skies. Clear skies over here. We do have some overcast. But so far, actually a fairly good day over the Pacific and much of the Earth's surface here. However, we should see some overcast weather over China. Yeah, you can see that it is overcast over China at the moment, which obviously will have an impact on the performance of units in the air. Really, when it comes to their coordination. I like just pulling off their missions. Another good point of this game, you'll gain a much greater understanding of the Pacific Theatre in the Second World War. Yeah, that is actually really quite important. Okay. Yeah, that topography is really quite good. Okay, so we need to set this up. Now let's take a look at the different submarines here. So we do have I-172. I-172 is not equipped with a float plane. I-173 is not equipped with a float plane. I-174, nope, no float plane. I-175, yeah, you guessed it, no float plane. So what we need to do here then, if we're going to try and successfully hunt down American carriers, is we need to have the right submarines for the right job. So we have I-8 over here. She is equipped with a actual float plane. So what we're going to do then is start to set up the actual hunt for a carrier. Now, I'm not entirely sure where she will be around. I've not played the Allied forces in War in the Pacific, and I really don't want to. Due to the reason of I don't want to know these positions, I like to not know that. But what we can summarize here, what we can theorize, is the American carriers only have a few options. They could try to head back to the USA, which they could try, but yeah, they do run the risk of being intercepted by many, many submarines. They have another option, and that is to head to Australia. The reason for these options, and the reason why they have to go to certain ports, is because they need a port of sufficient size for them to actually dock into. They can refuel basically all over, but they can't dock at ports that are obviously insufficient to handle their mass. They could also go for another option, which is basically to go towards like Singapore or to India, which is an option I don't see them really taking. The option I do see them going for is basically head into Australia. So that is actually going to really dictate our strategy. So what we'll do then is we'll try to establish a search pattern out about here and try to hunt down the American carriers. There's going to be one in the immediate area that we may get lucky and actually find. So that would be a very, very different December 1941 should we actually find an American carrier. So I-8 has her orders. I'm going to press the 6 key so I can actually see that. I-168, no float plane. I-169, we're going to guess no float plane. I-170, I'm going to guess no float plane. I-171, yeah, okay. I do have I-3 over here. We have I-3, I-2, and I-1. I'm going to assume that each one of these is a... Actually, no, I would have been wrong. I-2, no float plane. I-3, no float plane. Okay, so we have one float plane capable submarine here. And I wish we had more, but that's fine. So what we'll do then is I'll change that patrol pattern to be a little bit more towards the center here. I want them to cover some decent area with the float plane. We'll have it given orders to be out 100% of the time searching. So we'll be at 6,000 feet here. Unfortunately, we can't give them a greater range. It's a shame that we don't have more, but oh well. Okay, so what we'll do with these submarines is we're going to have them head out and hunt. So we'll clear that destination and set them a patrol. Okay. To find a flat top is rather important. It does make a massive difference for the Japanese Empire. If you find an American carrier in the early stages of the campaign, it definitely allows you to pull off some very interesting tactics and some very interesting stratagems, really. So it's well worth trying to actually find one of these bad boys. And we're going to try to change history a little bit here. I can only apologise for the shaky start to begin with. I was going to have the AI do this, but I thought, you know what? We need to do this ourselves. We need to make our own mark on history, don't we? As, frankly, I'm sure that's what you guys will be doing. You'll want to make your own mark. You want to see if you can indeed do better than Nimitz. There we go. So we have a broad search arc here. So what we'll do then is change their speed here to full speed, which is going to use more fuel. It's going to drain their endurance faster, basically. Endurance is this unit over here. They will move faster. This green circle represents how far they can move in a single turn. Okay, so let's see here. We do have these submarines that we do need to set up. Yep, they're ready to go. We do have 4 additional submarines here. We'll give them orders. Okay. Set that to around here. Have them move at full speed. Make sure they react to an enemy force in a hex around them. Okay. Now let's see, we could probably do with actually searching towards the south a little bit more. It's hard to say where the American carrier could be, so we are trying to make the right informed guesses here. Actually, there we go. Okay. Very nice. So you can see here that we'll have a rough search pattern. Now, this is going to be really good. What we will probably do then is we'll debate on whether we will continue to attack Pearl Harbor. Basically a hypothetical second wave that, yeah, that definitely does turn out to be a real one. Now, if we take a look inside Pearl Harbor, you can see that we actually do have midget submarines as well as the midget subcarriers, which is really, really cool. Don't forget to give torpedoes to the Bettys and Nels. Yep. Indeed. Okay, so we have a number of submarines here. All of these bad boys are carrying their midget submarines. So they're all on a mission here to drop off their midget subs, which works out fine for me. So what we're going to do is actually form a new task force. This is basically how we set up missions. So what we'll do here is go to midget submarine. Retirement is not allowed. And we'll take these midget submarines. You can only have 4 of them in a task force. We'll have to set up a second one. There we go. HA-19. So we'll set up a new task force here. Of 19. There we go. Okay. There we go. Fantastic. So they're now dropped off and they're now within the port of Pearl Harbor. So what we need to do then is give these bad boys some orders. But first we'll set up our submarines around Pearl Harbor. Basically we want to blockade the port. Everything that leaves needs to be torpedoed. Nothing is allowed to enter, as this is really going to keep the Americans under wraps in this area of the Pacific. Okay. So what do you guys think so far? I know it's a very complicated looking game, but it's definitely worth your time. It really, really is. It's one of these hidden gems that really does need some love. It does look very complicated, but that complication, that complexity is what makes it so very special. There is nothing else like this on the market. That size challenge submarine. I like it. And there we go, so we have that submarine set up. Now I'm trying to do things rather quickly here so we can get through the actual turn and so I can actually show you guys how this game functions in reality. Oh, don't worry, if it takes over your life, it's just worthwhile. There we go. When you have a good idea of what you're doing, things definitely don't take anywhere near as long. Like, for example, I myself am still learning, and I'm learning every single day, and you guys will as well. At the end of the day, one of the best things about this is it gives you a very different sort of understanding about the Pacific theater. It's like you start to actually realize, yeah, these distances were absolutely massive. I mean, one of the things I've always thought and heard and thought about is the fact that you can walk from Berlin to Moscow, but you can't swim from San Francisco to Tokyo, can you? You can't. So everything is far more difficult, far more involved. The sheer amount of logistics is insane. The level of fighting across so many thousands of miles is unmatched. So these green hexes basically represent where a submarine will end up where it's going to basically head up to. The yellow is basically where the, well, transiting. There we go. We can see their home port as well. So we have, yeah, so basically you could tell them to actually return to their home port, or you could actually change their home port. We tend to use major bases for that sort of role. Okay. Now with the remaining submarines, we need to try and set up something here in the south just in case the American carrier does try to bypass us. I'm going to put it this way. If you love history, you will love this game. So very simple. In just that way of logic, really. If you enjoy history, you will enjoy this game. I can guarantee you that. Okay, set up a little bit of a further out patrol here. Indeed, there's a giveaway. Okay. Not much left to do over here now. Not be long before we can actually get going on the first turn. On the first turn, hopefully things will be very interesting. And we should see ourselves doing some more damage than historical. We're definitely not going to lose anywhere near the number of fighters anyway. The thing is, you don't need to do that. We have our bombers, so they'll do the work for us. Okay, so there we go. We have everything set up now for the attack over here, which is great. So when we decide to actually end the turn, we'll be able to get that going immediately. Now, I do have a number of submarines over here. We do also have wake to deal with. We do have a number of invasion forces over here. So you can see we have an invasion force targeted towards the island of Tarawa, obviously held by the Australians. We do have the invasion here for Magan. What I'm going to do is actually combine these forces. The reason for that is I'd rather have Wake Island than to have Tarawa. Tarawa means nothing to me. Right, we're going to take a look over here. Yeah, we need to undock the task force here. So, undock. So you can see that task force was 48,000 tons. And due to the actual size of the port, it could only handle that. So if I take a look, that'll make more sense. Yep, so you can see over here. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. What I'm going to do then is combine them. So what I can do here is click ships in the port or ships in task force. So I'm going to turn off the ships in port and take the ships in that task force. To get an idea of distance, the distance from San Francisco to Pearl Harbor is almost 3,900 kilometers versus about 1,500 kilometers from Moscow. Well, from London to Moscow. Exactly. That is a really good way to put it. Okay. So if we take a look at this task force now, you can see that we've strengthened it. We have about 3,000 troops on board, but we can do more, can't we? We can add some additional ships. So what I'm going to do is sort by actual type of ship. So we have our light cruisers, we have our destroyers, we have our patrol boats, we have our armed merchant ships. These AMCs are very nice. We also have the different kinds of cargo ships. So for example, we have the Aratalma Mulru, which is a Youth and A cargo class. So we can see her capacity for cargo as well as her capacity to carry troops. You do have basically troop transports which can carry significantly more troops, but significantly less cargo. These ships are basically your dime a dozen cargo ship. They're meant to be carrying material, not so much men. Okay. Indeed. And trust me, if you need to learn how to play One Pacific, I can definitely help you out. Loving the giveaways. Thank you very much there to Matrix and Slytherin. These guys are doing an awesome job for this industry and just in general for this sort of game. This genre, I suppose. Thank you very much there, Spearhead. Okay, so what we're going to do here then is actually assign some additional ships. So we do have the Light Cruiser Kotori. Now if I take a look at the Cruiser Kotori, we can see here, we do have 14cm guns, we do have some AA, as well as torpedoes. She's not exactly the most modern ship, but it's definitely worth having. We do have some additional cargo ships, we also do have some additional patrol boats, so what I'm going to do is assign those patrol boats, and we'll go with that. So we have here Kotori, Tenru, Tatsuta, and Yubari, as well as the destroyers here. Fantastic. So, yep, they're set up to target Wake. What I'm going to do is actually go into the actual transports here, just in a moment. Yep, here we go. We'll select the Naval Guard here, and we'll give them orders. Well, give them orders to start planning for Wake Island. What this means is basically their amount of preparation. So the higher your preparation, the better you will do when you actually attack that target. Now, I have heard talk about A Distant Worlds 2, so that's going to be rather exciting. I'd love to play that. I'm sure you guys would as well. Okay, so we have ourselves here a strengthened invasion of Wake. I do, of course, have the Mackin invasion over here, but what I'm going to do instead is actually retarget them. Rather than Mackin, we're going to have them head towards a other island here. And that is, when I can find it, Canton Island over here. This is where we're going to invade instead. The reason for that is, well, Tarawa's not worth anything to me. If we take a look at the island, there's nothing there. There's a port, a very small port. But we can see here, Canton Island has a level 2 port as well as a level 2 airfield. So definitely well worth taking. Now, I'm going to leave these submarines for the time being. The reason for that will become clear once we actually start to see how things shape up over here. We do have some additional assets down this way. You're going to head to Australia. The submarine I-10. A beautiful specimen. There we go. And what we're going to do then is set up a patrol around this area. Notice the fact that we will be patrolling in deep water, rather out in the coastal waters. I don't want to be patrolling in those shallower depths, because we do stand to get hit a heck of a lot harder, should enemy ASW actually pick us up. So we'll have them linger a day in each location. Yep, there we go. Okay, so fantastic. So we do have additional invasions as well. So we do have invasions geared towards the Philippines as well as New Guinea. What we're going to do is take a look at these. So this invasion is set to hit whack. What we're going to do is change that. We do have this task force over here with the light carrier Ryujo. So we can see that we have 12 A5M4 Claudes, we have 12 B5N1 Kades. Now, you see the number here in brackets? That actually represents the number of aircraft in reserve. So basically, if we lose one of these A5M4s, we'll have another one spare on board, which is really quite good. But what we're going to do here is they're currently set up to attack... Yeah, you're currently set up to attack that port. How long are the turns in this month? Well, the first turns are definitely the longest for the Japanese. Oh yes, it's 2 12-hour phases. So you have the 12 hours of night and then you have the 12 hours a day, basically. And that is how a turn is processed. So you will go through each turn. Every single one of them, you will go through it. What I'm going to do here is, rather than attack any of these ports, is I'm going to have them, let's see. So they're currently equipped with torpedoes. I could tell them to use bombs instead. If we take a look at their actual aircraft information. So you can see they actually do have a good bomb load here. 250 kilogram bombs is actually really quite nice. Yep, every day and every night. Can the Japanese Empire win against the Allies? There is a way to win, and that comes down to having the victory points. If you have a certain amount of victory points versus the Allies in 1942 or 1943, then you can win a victory there. It is very difficult. Will the stream be going beyond 8 PM UK time? You bet your sweet ass it will be. Okay, yep, a turn. A turn is 24 hours, but you have that turn split up into 2 sections of 12 hours. Things will definitely make a lot more sense when we do get round to actually starting the turn. I'm thinking probably have the first half of the stream set up, and then the rest of it can be really seen how the game plays out, really responding to the devil of the details, basically. Best way to put it, I suppose. Okay, so this is something I also want to talk about, is we have political points here, and we also have the Manchukuo garrison. What this means is basically we have this much assault value, which is going to make more sense when I do touch more on land units, but assault value is basically a measure of how offensively competent that unit is. So you can see here that we do need to maintain a value of 8,000 in Manchukuo. If you actually go underneath this, then there is a chance each and every single turn that the Soviets will activate. And what that means is basically they will invade. And you do not want that. You really, really do not want that. Definitely not. So we can also see here the losses that will come. We can see here the scoring. And yeah, we can see here like list top pilots. That will make sense once we actually load the turn and you will see things going on. So let's take a look back at our task force over here. So we can see here they're currently set up obviously with orders to attack, but what we're going to do is change those orders. I'm going to have these A5M4 claws change their mission. We're not going to be hitting any airfields, we're instead going to be running escort duty. So we'll have a 30% combat air patrol, using drop tanks to extend their range to 6. There we go. Fantastic. What I'm going to do then is go to the B5M1 Kates. They're currently on port attack, but we're going to change that actually to naval attack. What that means is basically they will attack anything that comes really kind of nearby with torpedoes. I'll put them up to about 9,000 feet. I'll have we'll have 10% of the squadron out searching. They do have a good range here, which is very nice. Their range is far beyond that of the actual escort fighters, so I'm going to reduce that to 6 hexes. The reason for that is, yeah, I don't want them to go out on their own. And indeed, we will set up a strike on Manila. That's going to be great. Okay, so the purpose of this task force, led by the light carrier Ryujo. We do have heavy cruisers Miyoko, Haguro, and Nachi here. We need them to basically guarantee the success over here of the invasions of the Philippines. Well, the Philippine amphibious invasions. I'll say it that way. Okay, so we have this invasion that's going to go ahead. The Hollandia invasion. Okay. What we're going to do instead is actually go with a much larger and stronger Philippines invasion force. Okay, so these guys are docked, so we're going to have them undock. There we go, we'll undock. Right, there we go. We'll grab the transports here. And there we go. Yeah, good luck to you guys. There we go. Congratulations there, Lanza. Congratulations, my friend. Really well earned. Okay, so we have a number of light cruisers and destroyers here. So what we'll do then is they're currently set to actually escort this task force. So we have them obviously following Task Force 89. Surface combat. You do have some destroying minesweepers here. We do have a bunch of patrol boats. Now, most importantly, we do have these seaplane carriers. These are incredible, incredible ships. They do have very large complements of search planes. Very, very handy. They can also be converted in 1942 to become light carriers themselves, which is really significant. Japan needs every single carrier she can get. Every single flat top is well worth it. Okay, so what we're going to do here then is take a look at our search aircraft. I'm going to change them to reconnaissance. Change them up to about 50% as I did with the others. There we go. Yep, that's going to be great. We'll set them all to run the same. Though what I will do is actually have the Jakes run basically nighttime search. So they'll run at night. Yep, the Jakes will run that. So what that'll mean is basically we'll have float planes in the day and then also float planes at night looking for basically enemy craft, which is also going to be fantastic. Indeed. Okay, so we're set up there. It's interesting to see that they're transporting some actual naval forces. Yeah, some engineers over here. Awesome. Okay. What we'll do then is we'll go down here to our troops, and we're going to make sure that every single one of them is basically going to be planning for this objective. Yep, set all of them to plan. Brilliant. So we've strengthened our invasion here. Yes, float planes day and night. It's a bit like a flying rave, I suppose you could say. Now, next what I want to touch on is, if we take a look over here, so this is tasked with following that task force. Notice there in surface combat, they do have a number of different missions they could choose from. So surface combat, bombardment, fast transport, transport cargo, air transport, CV transport, CV escort, amphibious tanker, and escort. Now, surface combat means that basically they will be most prepared to obviously engage with surface threats, which is very good, which is what we want. At least with this sort of task force. This one is set to air combat. Basically, this is where a carrier is the flagship and obviously will run air operations. These ships here basically operate as an escort for the most part. We can see here the AA value of the actual task force, which is quite nice. Okay, so we've had a quick look at some ground forces. We've had a quick look at the naval forces. Let's take a look at the forces in the air. So you can see here, we do have a couple squadrons here. And we have some H-6Ks. These are some very, very fine patrol aircraft. But first and foremost, what I need to do here is explain how aviation works in this game. So if we take a look, we have support here, we have aviation support, we also have naval support of 118, which is very good. We have aviation support here. So basically you can see aviation support required here. This airfield is 24. We have plenty of that available, which is very nice. So if I take a look over here then, we actually go to the airfield. You can see here, this isn't showing up right now because obviously we still need to process the turn, but this airfield will only be able to handle a certain amount of aircraft at any one time. Okay, me old fruit. Right, what I'm going to do then is we're going to set up these bad boys. Yeah, so they're currently on a 50% patrol, that's fine. We'll put... yeah, 8-20 will be okay. They do have a massive amount of range. I could give them some orders to basically search a certain area, but I'm going to have them search randomly just to make... well, we might have the possibility of discovering something, which is going to be quite good. Now then, let's see here. Over at Truck, we do have a number of forces, which are very nice. We do have the Shortlands Invasion Force. Okay, so we do have some additional invasion forces over here. What we'll do with these bad boys is, let's take a look. I'm actually going to put them into the same task force. And what we'll do here is I'm going to basically use them. How do I want to use them? We could have them sent down to the Gilbert Islands, for example. We could have them sent further south. What we will do is we'll have them head towards Wake Island for the time being. What I'll do, though, is actually tell these guys to start planning for an invasion of Midway. There we go, like so. Okay. Basically, how we're going to do this is we're going to completely annihilate the US Pacific Fleet. We'll have a invasion of Midway and Wake, of course. Oops, keep hitting the wrong button. Okay, so we've run through quite a few things over here. What we're going to do is basically set up the air attacks, and yeah, we'll be good to go from there. Luckily, we still have a good amount of time remaining, which is fantastic. I'm really glad about that one. Okay, so you can see here that we do have 558 aircraft here. 413 of them are ready. Oh, sorry, no, 413 total aircraft. This is just a stack level. Bombers, obviously due to their size, take up more. Well, they're larger, so they count as, like, being more than one, which makes sense. 360 of them are ready. 0 aren't ready, and 53 in reserve. But a total of 413. So if we take a look over here, then, we do have the Tainan KUS Squadron. So currently they're targeted to hit Clark Airfield. Yep, which is fantastic. What we're going to do is lower their altitude. We're also going to turn off the combat air patrol and actually have them run long-range combat air patrol. We'll have that... yeah, we'll have that on 0. I want them to basically be completely able to escort any attacks over here. So what we'll do then is have all A6M20s targeted on Clark Airfield. The reason, you might say, why Clark is an incredibly important airfield here in the Philippines. So you can see here it has an air capacity of 8. Now if I take a look at the base over here at Takao, we have an airfield capacity of 8 as well. Well, a level 8 airfield. What this means is it basically can support a couple of hundred aircraft. So what we need to do then is remove MacArthur's Air Force from the Philippines, in a nutshell. There's a lot of air power here, and we need to knock that out. So what we're going to do here is let's take a look. We do have a number of aircraft obviously targeted towards that area. But what I'm going to do is actually take half of these zeros and have them targeted over Manila. There we go. So one squadron will run over Manila. We aren't going to see much in the way of reprisal from the American forces on the ground due to the surprise attack. Okay, so what I'll do here is remove the fighters for the time being. Now, of course, that does leave us with the different type of aircraft. So what I'll do is I'll turn off all the different types, and we'll go to level bombers. So we have the bombers of the Imperial Japanese Army and the Imperial Japanese Navy. I'm going to turn off the Imperial Japanese Army for the time being. So that leaves us with the G3M2 Nels as well as the G4M1 Bettys. Now obviously these aircraft are wildly different. You can see here default loadout is a torpedo. Reduced loadout is two 250kg bombs. What we're going to do then is actually have them all set to use bombs. Yeah. Actually, we'll have torpedoes. Though these guys don't have any torpedoes. We can rectify that issue fairly easily. Let's see here. We'll reduce the altitude down to about 10,000 feet. I mean, it very much depends on, really, am I wanting to use bombs here or am I wanting to use torpedoes? We'll take a look at the pilot here. Okay, so you can see naval torpedo is 70, around about 60 to 70. Naval bombing, yeah, 60 to 70 as well. So they're pretty much trained in both methods of war. A torpedo is definitely going to do a hell of a lot more damage than just a bomb. But it does present risk. Let's take a look at the G4 M1s. Yeah, pretty much the same loadout. Let's see if we can actually get them some torpedoes. Okay, so how we're going to do this is actually go through this. All bombers in range of Manila, tap port, altitude 2,000 feet. 9,000 feet will be sufficient, as they'll obviously then dive and come in to do a torpedo run. So what we're going to do here then is actually go through these commands and make sure they have torpedoes. So we can only have, we'll actually put them up to 50 here. Give the rest of them some torpedoes. Yeah, don't worry about the AA. That's true. A question for the Pacific experts, which I'm not. Were some American soldiers able to avoid capture and hide in the jungle until liberation? Well, that's a good question. I wish I could answer it, but I have no idea. Right, the bombs. Well, 10,000 feet will be the best one to go with then, as we're flying horizontally, sorry. Okay. We're going to make sure that they all have torpedo ordnance. Just for the future. There we go. Fantastic. So, yep, we'll have them all set to use bombs then. So we're going to target... well, this is a question here. I do have these naval bombers. I also do have these Imperial Army bombers. Let's take a look at their actual experience here. That's something I'd like to see. Click on Show Unit Table Equipment. Sure. Mm-hmm. Ah, see, there we go. Learning new things every single day. That's actually really nice. I like that. Okay, thank you there. See, this is what I'm talking about. It does really, really help out when you have knowledgeable people. Oh dear. That's fantastic, mate. Thank you very much. There we go, that's going to come in greatly handy in the future. So yes, what we're going to do then is decide what we are going to use. I think we'll use, it depends really. The first turn is incredibly vital as you do gain that surprise bonus. So I think what we'll do then is, we'll have the army bombers hit Clark, and we'll have the naval bombers hit Manila. I think that's probably the best way to run things. Now, a lot of these bombers may not be able to reach the actual port, well, the actual airfield at Clark. So what we'll do then is, we'll see what we have available. So I'm going to reduce that altitude down to 10,000 feet. Okay, could you hit Clark? I don't think you could. Yeah, definitely too far. So they're not going to be able to manage it, which is a shame. Yeah, definitely is a shame. Ah, dear. As it would be nice to have those additional numbers. So if we take a look over here then, we can see, yeah, range is 10. Okay, so we'll not be able to reach them, even from here. So those bombers aren't exactly going to be of any use. So what I could do is actually have them transferred out to another area, to another theatre. So what we need then is something with at least 12, something around that. Our first turn prior to sink as many of those subs. True, but I want to show these guys how to pull off an attack on an airfield as well. I say, okay, so everybody's going to attack here at 10,000 feet. Yep, as Lupus points out there is a massive amount of submarines in Manila. Very large numbers. Okay, what I'm going to do here then is see how they're set to attack this airfield. We're going to ignore that. We're going to target Clark. So they're going to hit Clark. Yep, they do have the range to actually hit the airfield here, which is very good. If I take a look, we actually do have more bombs, which is good. Obviously, we're not going to be using torpedoes on a airfield. So, that's fine by me. Okay, they don't have the range, but they're currently training pilots to attack airfields. Now, a little trick here is you can actually, you set them to the altitude you want them to basically train at, and then you reduce their range down to 0, and you won't lose very many of them. That's a little bit of a trick there. Okay. Okay, we have our KI-21s here. These are very good. We'll have them targeted on Clark. And there we go. Lovely. You're targeted on Clark. You're not in range anyway. Neither of these guys. Yeah, okay. That's fine by me. Not much we can really do about it. So I do have a squadron of KI-27s over here. What I'm going to do then is basically have them on escort, but I'm going to increase the amount here on long-range combat air patrol to about 80% of the squadron. So we'll give them drop tanks, so they'll have their range extended to 8. We'll increase their altitude to 20,000 feet as well. So they'll hopefully help to escort or basically intercept enemy aircraft in this area. Not that we'll expect much with the surprise attack, but it's always good to be prepared. Okay, so we've set that up for the actual attack over here. What we're going to do then is take a look at Indochina. So we do have to worry about Task Force Z, which is going to be out here somewhere. And that, of course, is the battleship Prince of Wales, as well as the battlecruiser Repulse. And we need to kill them. Okay. So let's take a look over here then. It's definitely worth learning. So if we take a look at the Imperial Japanese Navy forces over here, so we have a good number of G3M2 Nels, and we also have a squadron of G4M1s. These babies do have much longer range than the G3M2s. Their range is 18 hexes. The G4M1s have a range of about 21 hexes, which is very, very good. Indeed, torpedo bombers for the win. what we're going to do here then is we do have an option to actually have these guys join in on the attack on Manila, which I'm going to do. Let's see, what is the range here from Saigon? From Saigon to Manila is 22 hexes. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them basically fly out from Camaran Bay and attack Manila. There's the G4s. There we go, we've got the G4s over here. We also need to make sure that they actually have some torpedoes. Not that they'll need them, but in the future they will do. So we'll have them set up to attack with bombs. Change that altitude down to 10,000 feet. Yep, they're going to use bombs. Okay. Set them to a port attack. There we go, over Manila. Brilliant. Okay. What we'll do as well is we'll set up the naval bombers over here. That's what I like to see. Port attack. What we're doing basically here is making sure that we can try and knock out as many American submarines as possible. Congratulations there. Fantastic. How great is this? Okay, so these guys are set to attack Manila. That's what I like to see. And what we'll do is we'll go here, so set all G3M2 nails at the space to actually have these same orders. Yep, there we go. The G4M1s, they're going to use bombs. I'm going to change them to attack the port here of Manila. There we go. Yep, set all G4M1 Bettys at the space to attack the same port. So what we're doing here then basically is we're going to see, I don't know, quite a few bombers heading out to Manila. Yeah, it's going to be rather impressive. Still trying to streamline just what we're doing here, just to make things flow a little bit smoother. Now notice this invasion is going to hit this base again. We're going to ignore that. We've strengthened that base. So we've strengthened that invasion force. What I'm going to do is hit this base over here. The reason for that is basically so we can capture this base, and then we'll have control of this rail line between, which means we'll be able to move our forces strategically from here to here via rail, which is going to be very, very nice. Definitely speeds things up. Yes, strike coordination is a very real issue, so hopefully we do have it work out well for us. Okay, now what to do with these G3M2 nails? Well, what we have to do is actually figure out how to kill Force Z. We do have a kind of rough knowledge of where she is from history. She's going to be sailing out from Singapore, so we obviously do need to deal with her. There we go. I'll just make sure that they actually do have the numbers to begin with. Additional 10 here. There we go. Torpedoes are basically converted from the supply that you have. Okay. So, we can expect... Yeah, we can expect Task Force Z to be somewhere in this area. I can't remember exactly where she is, but she will be around in this area. Okay. What we'll do then is... we'll have them target... yeah, around here. Okay, so they're set up for a naval attack. That's fine, that's what I need. I'm going to put down their altitude to about 9,000 feet. Yeah, closer to Mersing. Okay. I'm using a map developed by a user called ChemKid. If you head over to my channel and actually post a comment on one of the videos there, I'll endeavour to give you a link. I do have the file saved somewhere, and I'll make sure you can get them. But this map mod is amazing. It does make this game look so much better. And I adore it. Okay, so we're set for a naval attack here. Exactly. Oh dear. Okay, so we're set for naval attack. Oh dear. Okay. So currently these forces, apparently their attack is Singapore, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do here is instead give them proper orders. So they're going to go down to 9,000 feet. Like so. So they're set to naval attack here. What I'll do then is we'll put 20% of these, we'll put about 10% of the squadrons out on search. So what I'll do here then is we're going to basically set up a search arc. So we'll have it start here. And we'll have it, I'd say, end about here. Somewhere around that area, actually. Around about there. Okay. So let's edit this. Right, now that looks pretty good. That's going to cover the approach from Singapore quite nicely. Let's see, if I make that 220... Yeah, that's fine. Okay, what I'm going to do then is have all G3M2 nails at this base run the same orders. So these are G4 M1s, I do believe. No, G3. Interesting. Okay, we'll go for about 6,000 feet then. Lovely jubbly. So we do have some Ki-21s over here. These are very nice aircraft. Right. Okie dokie. What we'll do then is, we'll have a couple of them actually set to airfield attack. And I could have them on... Yeah, actually no, we'll leave them on naval attack. What we'll do here then is actually... Strange. Okay, yeah, we'll work with it. Okay, we'll have them, obviously... Yeah, we'll use them on a airfield attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them actually head out, and where do we want to hit? I could have them potentially bomb. I'm flying 9 times... Yes, that's why. There we go. That's probably why... Yeah. Okay, fantastic. I was just looking at that thinking, wait a minute, something's not right here. See, this is what's great about this game. I'm by no means a professional. I do have a working knowledge, but yeah, I always have people to help me out. And that is what makes this community fantastic. Right, there we go. So we'll have about, let's say about 20% of the squadron out searching. Fantastic. There we go. What I'll do then is give them the same orders here. So set all G3M2 Nels to use the same orders. Yep, so they're all set up to do the same thing. So you can see this black line, basically this is an area where we'll be searching all day. So ideally we do pick up the enemy, well, forcing in this area and put some torpedoes into them. We do have a number of invasions here. Okay. Right, so they're all set up, fantastic. Now we need to actually set up some patrols. Right, so allow all of them here, all nations. Yep, basically the Imperial Japanese Army and Navy. So we do have a number of A6M2 Zeros. Currently they're running long-range combat air patrol. Combat air patrol. What I'm going to do is have them run long-range combat air patrol. Yeah, make sure the pilot's wife is in a good mood. And the gunner's not too stressed. Okay, we'll run them at 20,000 feet. I'm going to change their escort and basically want them to run out here. Okay. I do have some A5M4 Claudes. They're not of much use to me right now. Okay, so over here we do have some Ki-43-1As and 1Bs. These are army aircraft, basically army fighters. Very interesting aircraft. They do have slightly different loadouts, which is very interesting. So currently they're set here for escort over Kotoburu. 80% of them is on a combat air patrol. What I'll do then is change that over to long-range combat air patrol. So using drop tanks, they have a good range of about 12 hexes. Okay, drop this by 20. Up this, there we go. We'll set all fighters at this base to run this same mission here. I will change that target from Kotoburu, basically have them run to escort each and around. Okay. Which is not... Really what you should be wanting to do is have them head out and go to where you're choosing to bomb. I'm instead choosing to have them run long-range combat air patrol over this area. Which is not always the best way. What I'm trying to do here is make sure that we can get through a turn, so we can actually see the attack on Pearl Harbor. I know you guys want to see that. Okay, so they're set for combat. Sorry for an airfield attack, but I'm not a big fan of those. So what we'll do is we'll have them run combat air patrol. Actually, no, yeah, we'll have them run... about 4... I'd say just escort. About 30% of the squadron on combat air patrol. And again, 20,000 feet. There we go. Set all fighters to do the same. And that's just what I like to see. Okay, brilliant. So we set up the air over here. Let's take a look at our bombers. So I do have some Ki-48s over here. These are rather interesting aircraft. Let's take a look at the aircraft data. So they carry 4 100kg bombs, so nothing exactly massive, is it? Right, let's take a look. We do have a shorter range bomber here, so they're not... I don't believe they're within range. Yeah, they're out of range of Singapore, which is a shame, because that is obviously where we'd like to hit. I could have them move to one of these bases over here, but the thing is, we obviously do run the risk of the AA, which we would have the best chance of dealing with that on the first turn with a surprise attack, but I'd rather not risk it. So what we'll do then is we'll have them hit one of the airfields near here. Now, we don't have a idea of what we're seeing here, so we'll hit Kotoburu. Then again, we are going to be landing at Kotoburu, so I'd rather keep that airfield intact, so we'll hit Georgetown instead. That's what we'll do. So we'll take our Ki-48s. Have them change to airfield attack. If we take a look at the pilots. Yeah, ground bombing. That's pretty good. It's okay. They're not exactly amazing, but they'll do. Right, so we're going to hit Georgetown. Set all level bombers here to do the same. Now, I do have some reconnaissance aircraft. What we're going to do then is actually have 50% there. That's a really, really high up altitude. So reconnaissance over... We'll actually have them run naval search. There we go. So set our reconnaissance to run this. So basically what we want them to do is to head out here into the South China Sea, obviously around here, the Gulf of Siam, the Java Sea, this area basically, so that we can actually try and discover Force Z and deal with that. Now, we do have our submarines over here. What I'm going to do is actually try and set up to intercept a Force Z should it arrive. So what we'll do then is we'll patrol around this area. We also do want to protect our own landings, so it's an important thing to be doing. There we go. I do hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. How has your day been so far? Come on, let's get some information going. How has your day been? Or evening, I dare say. We're all here because we have a mutual appreciation of these fine art games, so let's get some information shared. Let's make some love here. Ah dear. That's fine by me. That's great to hear. I bet you're happy there, Lanza. I bet you're happy. Congratulations, mate. Over-caffeinated. Ooh. I wish you great luck with your examination there, my friend. How many battleship versus battleship battles was there in the Pacific? Now, I can't give you an answer because I actually don't know. I'm sure there will be some expert in the chat who could give you some kind of idea. There we go. So we do, of course, need to beware enemy submarines. Now, I will go ahead and show you guys how to actually set up a ASW patrol, but I think we'll probably do that in the following turn. I'd like us to actually go ahead and see like a proper turn soon. Okay. Oh, it's a really strange pattern. I'll allow it. When we invade the White House, mate, we've already burnt it down. Okay, around this area as well. Oh, that's fantastic, mate. I'm really glad you've enjoyed it. Okay. As far as it goes for what you can post in the chat, I'm not really a moderator, but as long as it's actually related to the game, then sure, why not? Can't see the harm in it. We're not too far away here from being able to just go ahead and process a turn. I mean, all we've got to do now is basically take a look at just the invasions. How things run in China, and yeah, we'll be good to go. I know it seems like such a long and arduous task, but trust me, it's definitely worth the effort. When you actually have things work out, it's so wonderful. And again, this game is on sale as well as the other Grigsby games, as well as the line covered by the Matrix and Slytherin's publishers. So it's definitely worth checking some out. There's some really nice beauties in there. Okay, almost done. We have a lot of submarines in this area and we need to make use of them. Force Z is rather competent, so we'd rather not have her really interrupt the landings. Okay, so let's take a look over here then. So we do have the base at Batani. We also have the base here at Singora. So we have the cover force here. They're going to be heading to Kutabaru to obviously bombard. So what we're going to do is give them a bombardment mission. So we have an option here to allow escorts to bombard. I'm going to have that on. So what we're going to do is... so what we're going to do then is give them those orders. So you can see here, we take a look at the range of these guns. So you can see the main battleship guns have a range of 39,000 yards. The secondary guns have a range of about 22,000 yards. What we're going to do is have this reduced. Yeah, we'll have them fire about 22,000 yards. Actually, we'll make about 20,000 yards. Make sure everybody can get some shots off with their guns should they have sufficient range. We don't want to get too close, but we don't want to be too far away either. Yes, exactly. Have you ever played any of the Grigsby games to completion? I suppose a War in the East game. I stopped that after the game had lost its challenge. But I suppose not to true completion. Hopefully one day I might be able to complete a game of War in the Pacific and become probably a Guinness record holder. Okay. Yeah, it definitely is, but you know what? It is really worthwhile. If you do enjoy a complex game, this is definitely worth it. It's not the hardest game to learn, and I'm not kidding when I say that. It really isn't. Okay, so we have a couple of heavy cruisers over here. We do have... Yes, I need to install the alt mod. You keep reminding me, and I will do it, I promise. Okay, so we do have the heavy cruisers over here as well as the destroyers. Let's see. How do you want to use them? We do have the option to potentially engage with 4C, but I think that could be potentially rather dangerous. So what we'll do then is we'll have them meet this task force over here, so the actual heavy cover force, obviously the Congo and Haruna, so they're going to merge as well. There we go. So we will have our invasions obviously underway. I'm going to allow these to run ahead without much interference, and just for the sake of allowing things to run smoothly. Okay. Yes, Chemcad did a really fantastic job. Right then, it is going to take some time for these amphibious landers to arrive, so we do have some options to actually change their destinations on the fly. Okay, so what we're going to do as well is actually take a look at sending additional forces down here. So we do have the 6th Royal Thai Army Division over here. Okay. Yep, the game you see before you is Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admiral's Edition. It definitely is a great map. So what we're going to do with these guys is we're actually going to have them... actually, what I can do here is, let's see... There we go. So we're going to have them travel via rail to Singora. I'm going to give them objectives over here on a low star. There we go. So we do have additional forces over this way. What we'll do here then is... We do have the Royal Thai Army. Now what I want to point out here is how it works in regards to units. So you can see here that we have assault value. Now what this means is basically how offensively capable this force is. Again, it obviously is defensive as well. Basically how... It's like a measure of this force's strength, really. That's probably the best way to put it. So you can see here that we have a number of Thai squads, obviously Thai rifle squads, Thai heavy machine gun, 81mm mortar, 75mm guns, very nice, as well as their support. What we're going to do then is we're going to have them head down here to Singora as well via the rail. We do have a very important force here. Yes, and that is the Imperial Guard Division. So this is a Japanese division. You can see here the high experience as well as the high morale. They do have a little bit of fatigue, but they are more than capable of handling this. So currently they are marching here. What we're going to do is, because they're on a rail line, and this rail line is connected all the way down here to Singora, is we're going to actually have them travel via the rail system. So what we'll do then is have them head to Singora. So we're going to tell everybody in this hex to go to the same operations mode, so i.e. the strategic, and set all of them to follow this unit. I'm also going to tell to start planning for Singapore. There we go. So you can see that we did have 100 preparations, now down to 33. I'd rather them prepare for Singapore. Okay, there's much more that could be done in this area, but for the sake of getting things to move along much sooner, we're going to skip a decent amount of it. Okay, so take a look at China. Let's see. How do we want to do this? We do have a number of forces here. Congratulations there, Byron. Well done, my friend. Okay, so we have a number of divisions here in Manchuria. We're going to have them begin to make their way down to this base here as Anyang. Build up the amount of forces there. Okay. So notice that we do have infantry regiments. We have different levels of formations. You can also see that we have a certain amount of garrisons that we must... well, a certain amount of garrison level that we must maintain. Okay, so we're going to take the 12th Division here. What I'm doing here is going to be a very simplified approach to China. The reason for that is so that we can get things running and underway. So we've seen there how to move units strategically. So I'm going to send a couple divisions this way, and we'll use what we have down this way. It's obviously going to take a long time for forces to engage in combat. However, we do have these guys down here, so they're going to engage in a deliberate attack. Now, it's a good opportunity to talk about the different combat orders. So we can see here that we have defense, deliberate attack, bombardment, and shock attack. Now, bombardment basically means they'll use that artillery to obviously attack an enemy, obviously without engaging directly, using indirect attack only. I've done that basically so that we can actually showcase the game. And we can actually set up the attack on Pearl Harbor ourselves, which we are going to be running very shortly. I can apologise to those of you who are expecting to see a Pearl Harbor attack immediately, but this game is so beautiful that we have to set things up. Okay, so what we're going to do here then is have them on a deliberate attack. That's fine. Okay, that's good to go. Now we also have Hong Kong down here. So we currently have this force heading towards Hong Kong, so that is the 38th Division as well as the Artillery and Engineers, as well as the accompanying 68th Infantry Regiment. So currently they're on combat orders. What we're going to do is give them orders to move here, to march basically. Okay, set all of them to follow, set all of them to plan for Hong Kong. We do have additional forces over here, the 104th Division in Canton. They're going to begin to march towards Hong Kong as well. We need those additional forces. There we go. So begin to plan for Hong Kong. Yeah, exactly. You've got to learn to appreciate the depth, which is phenomenal. Now, we don't have a huge amount to do here in China, as of this moment. It's going to take us some time to do that. So what we'll do really is see how ground combat plays out, and then we'll go ahead. I know, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? Okay, so something I do want to point out here is how you set up a convoy. So for example, what we're going to do is going to go over here to Shanghai. I'm going to go about setting up a convoy, just to show you guys how to do it. So what we'll do here is we'll take a look and we'll go to AK, which is our cargo ships. So a good thing to do is to sort them basically via speed and cargo capacity. So the Yamagiri Maru is a USN cargo class, USN cargo ship. Very nice. So what we'll do is we'll set up a couple of these bad boys. Yeah, we'll just grab them all, why not? It's always a good thing just to show for demonstration. So we can see here we have ourselves a convoy. What I'm going to do is begin to load resources into this bad boy. So you can see that we have about 74,118 tons of total capacity. Ooh, we have another raffle there. Another chance to win Grigsby's War in the Pacific. This is amazing. I hope you guys are enjoying this. So yeah, that's how you set up a convoy. What we can do then is give them a destination of Nagasaki. So what we'll do is put this under computer control. So what this does is actually create a continuous supply. So basically what they'll do is, yeah, continuous supply for resources, return cargo, none. Yeah, that's fantastic. What they'll do is they'll head from Shanghai, then Nagasaki, drop off the resources, head back from Nagasaki to Shanghai, so on and so forth. There we go. And I think with that, we're pretty much ready to go. Congratulations there, guys. Okay, so we're going to have this submarine head out towards Los Angeles. Sorry, towards San Diego, as well as Los Angeles. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think then? Do you think we're ready to actually process the turn? Are you ready? Are you ready to see the attack on Pearl Harbor? Come on, I've got to see some yeses here. Can we get some yeses going and we can begin to process the turn here and see the magic unfold before our eyes, really. It's going to be great. I can definitely show you that one. Come on, let's get some hype going here. Come on. Tenno, Haika, Banzai. Commit the turn. Fantastic. Okay. So we've got everything basically set up here. This is a very simplistic setup, but we've got the main bits going. So, let's go for it, right? So we're going to end the turn here. And this is how you will see the turn play. So, the game will save. And now begins the game in earnest. Yeah, I hope 4C gets annihilated. That would be some very nice, cathartic justice there. Okay, so you can see how the game will run through. So we have our naval reaction phase, loading unloading. So this is basically the game doing the maps here. Okay, so you can see they've merged. Yep, so we have our bombardment over here at Peru. Now, what I'm doing here with the actual shortcut is I have some additional commands. So basically what you would normally see is some animations here. What I've done is basically turn off some of these just to have the stability. But we can see here the battle... Well, Haruna here is firing her main weapons. She's firing her secondary weapons. Congo is now doing the same. Okay, wow. As you can take a look here at the results, you can see the Allied aircraft losses. So 8 of these Hudsons have been damaged on the ground. 2 wildebeests damaged, 1 of them destroyed. So you can see the ships that participated here. And we can see the Allied forces took 127 casualties. So you can see 5 non-combatant squads were destroyed, 17 disabled. These disabled squads can eventually come back. But yeah, we inflicted some pretty heavy damage there. So the runway is taking hits, the port's taking hits, yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's going to help to soften up the forces there for the invasions. Indeed, press F to pay respects. Okay, so you can see here. Right, yeah, we are spotting ships, this is fantastic. So you can see the D3A1 Vals have spotted a number of... Yep, there we go. So we did lose a D3A1 there to a... I'm going to assume... Yeah, destroyed by combat air patrol. Okay, reports a Allied submarine hit there. Okay, here begins the attack on Pearl Harbor. So you can see here we have 96 A6M2 we have 144 B5N2 Kates, 128 D3A1 Vals. So you can take a look, this combat is going to be awesome. Let's see, how are we going here? Attacking, yep. So our zeros here are at 20,000 feet. Ideally, we get the drop on the enemy here. That is an awesome thing. That is an awesome output. There we go. So what we're trying to do here is basically burn. Absolutely burn through the Allied air forces here. So our bombers can get through and deliver their payload. Yep, so you can see here, the A6M2 we did attack one of these from the rear, and that is very good, that's exactly what you want. So, yep, additional P40 arriving. You can see the altitude that the battle has been fought at is about 20,000 feet. Another P40 has been destroyed. Beautiful. So you can see this is Kiributai over here, and the red line obviously dictates where the attack is coming from and where it's attacking. Okay, let's see the results here then. So we do lose a B5N2 Kate to the flak. A D3A1 Val goes down. Yep, so we've got our first hit on the battleship California. Now, it would be nice to see some torpedoes here. Right, Allied aircraft destroyed. We are hitting the runway as well. An 18... Yeah, okay, so the battleship Tennessee has been torpedoed. Was that West Virginia that has been hit by a bomber? Beautiful. Pennsylvania. Severe casualties. Again, Pennsylvania. These are some big bombs. Ooh, there's a torpedo into the California. Another one into the Oklahoma. Oof, the light cruiser St. Louis has been torpedoed. That's gonna leave a mark. Nevada hit by a 250 kilogram bomb. Oklahoma hit by a 250 kilogram bomb. Again, California. Pennsylvania hit by a 800 one. Oof. That is gonna hurt. Yep, battleship Bro currently under attack. The heavy cruiser San Francisco has been hit. California once more. Severe casualties from the explosion there. Tennessee. Maryland has been hit. Arizona. Ideally we see a few more torpedoes strike out here. That'd be very nice. If you head over to my channel, I will endeavour to provide a link to the actual map mod. If somebody can actually find it, that'd be fantastic. The creator of the map mod, unfortunately, I don't think he has it available on the forums. I'm not entirely sure what the situation is. Allied carrier, yeah, there we go, fantastic. So we're also hitting the runway pretty hard. Yep, B-17D Fortress damage there. Indeed. Ooh, that torpedo just got hit by a I mean, that destroyer got hit by a torpedo. I don't think there's going to be anything left of that thing. So far, so good. There you go. Whisper Lupus and he will send you a link to the actual map mod. Really does improve the game. Ooh, California's been hit once more. So, ooh. See, that is what we need to see, is these torpedoes and bombs hitting their marks. Especially the torpedoes. Those are the things that are going to do the main damage here. So, what we want to do here is not necessarily annihilate these battleships, because at the end of the day, that is going to make it easier on the Allied forces. What we want to do is severely cripple them. The reason for that is rather insidious, really, is it actually takes up that space within the repair yard and the dock. The port can only handle so many dock ships, so if we fill it up with damaged battleships and their tonnage, yeah, they're not going to be able to handle very much more than that. Okay, so the the murder continues. Incredible to think that on this date, in 1941, this happened for real. Incredible moment in history, really. Okay, so we've not taken very heavy losses in the air, which is fantastic. Ooh, okay, Honolulu has been hit by a torpedo there. Oklahoma once again. Okay, so our results here. Ooh, the destroyer minesweeper has been hit by a torpedo. Another one into Tennessee. This is looking pretty brutal. Maryland. Ooh. Yeah, this is really gonna hurt them a heck of a lot. Indeed, this is no drill. Maryland, oh god. I feel like the Maryland has been hit so many times now. Bloody hell. Thank you very much for that, Lupus. Oh my. What do you guys reckon then? Should we speed things up and see the results of the actual battle here? Well, I suppose the surprise attack. Indeed, magazine explosion. What we're going to do then is we're going to press escape here and take a look at these results. So let's take a look then. The morning air attack on Pearl Harbor. The weather in the Hex is clear. Raid detected at 112 nautical miles, estimated altitude is 10,000 feet. Estimated time to target is 41 minutes. So you can see here then, the turn resolution doesn't take too particularly long. You can press escape to speed things up. Thank you very much there. I hope you guys have really enjoyed it so far. And congratulations to all of you who have won a copy of War in the Pacific. I really do hope you enjoy it. So let's take a look over here then. So we could see that one P-36 Mohawk did rise into the air. We had 5 P-40B Warhawks rise up to challenges, as well as 2 F4F3 Wildcats. Our losses here, so we see 14 B5 N2 Kates damaged, 1 destroyed by flak, 12 D3A1 Vals damaged, 3 destroyed by flak. Let's take a look at these losses. What you've got to bear in mind here is this actual combat summary is not 100% accurate. Pilots can basically report false information. So for example, a pilot might think he's sunk the largest battleship in history, but in reality that could have been a cargo ship. There's no way for him to actually tell. So let's take a look then. You can see these losses are pretty amazing. Right, so plenty of fighters here. We can also see that we've inflicted some damage on a B-17, as well as some Havocs, and importantly the Catalinas. Well, this is some really nice damage. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the main course then, shall we? We've had the advertiser. Okay, so Battleship California. 10 bomb hits, so she's been hit by bombs 10 times. Torpedo hits 1, heavy fires, heavy damage. Tennessee, 5 bomb hits, 2 torpedo hits, heavy fires, heavy damage. West Virginia, 1 torpedo hit, and is supposedly sunk, so she's beneath the waters here. Pennsylvania, 7 bomb hits, heavy fires, heavy damage. Oklahoma, 3 bomb hits, 2 torpedo hits, on fire and heavy damage. The St. Louis, 1 torpedo hit, but we don't have any information. I'm going to say she's probably heavily damaged, if not sunk. Nevada, 5 bomb hits, 1 torpedo hit, heavy fires. The heavy cruiser San Francisco, hit by 1 bomb. We don't have any more information. Maryland, 5 bomb hits, 1 torpedo hit, and is supposedly sunk here. So that is 2 battleships down so far. Arizona, 3 bomb hits, 3 torpedo hits. Sorry, 8 bomb hits and 3 torpedo hits. Heavy fires and heavy damage. Yeah, the destroyer Selfridge, I'm gonna say she's been hit by a torpedo. She's either incredibly damaged, or yeah, she's gone down. The Honolulu, hit by a torpedo. The destroyer Minesweeper Trevor has been hit by a torpedo. Yeah, look at this. So, light cruiser here, hit by a bomb. The destroyers Lee Jarvis have been sunk due to torpedo hits. Destroyer Minesweeper hit by bomb, heavy fires. Detroit on fire. The auxiliary aircraft tender, Wright, hit by a bomb, heavy fires. The New Orleans hit by a bomb here, on fire. So, look at that. We've destroyed, well, we've put beneath the waters there the Maryland and the West Virginia now reside beneath the waves. We also did put a couple of destroyers underneath the waters as well. Some very nice damage there. You can also see that the repair shipyard taken 7 hits. Airbase, yeah, the runway's taken a lot of hits, the port's taken a lot of hits. So all in all, a very successful attack on Pearl Harbor. We may wish to continue this again. Yeah, magazine explodes on the West Virginia, magazine explodes on the Maryland. That is some major luck there. For the magazines to blow, yeah, that is pretty incredible. Okay. So you can see here that we have our search planes actually running over. Hello, right, so we have the G3M2 hitting Wake. There we go, we can actually see that we're hitting the airfield over here on Wake Island, which is a very good thing due to the fact that we have a number of allied aircraft over here. Yeah, we're actually destroying some aircraft on the ground, very nice. This is what we want to see here. What do you guys think to the Pearl Harbor results then? I mean, the fact that we supposedly sunk 2 battleships there, I mean, we've definitely heavily damaged the rest of them. I mean, some of the other ships may be critically damaged and may very well go down very soon. Some nice hits there. Okay, let's take a look at these results here. What did we manage to accomplish? Ah, that's awesome there, Lupus. He wants to ruin his social life. Okay. As we can see that we take no losses to our own aircraft. We do damage 7 F4, F3 Wildcats on the ground. We do destroy one of them, which is fantastic. We also do inflict 10 casualties. The runway is hit, the airbase is hit. Very nice. Okay, so we have, okay. So I forgot about the squadron over here, which is hitting Eba. That's fine. And battleship-wise, I think you got worse results than in real life. I mean, this is the reality here. It's like these fighters, these aircraft are... They're reporting information as to their knowledge, which is not always accurate. Okay, I mean, the 2 magazines exploding, yeah, you can be pretty damn sure that's going to be dead. Okay, let's see what our luck is like over here at Manila. So we're being challenged by 5 P-40E Warhawks, and potentially a couple more P-26s. Let's see how they perform. Yeah, A620s are really very effective aircraft. Exactly. So this is why I say that when we actually hit the battleships, we're better off actually not destroying them, not sinking them, but actually damaging them enough to actually make sure they reside in the port and take up some valuable space there. Ooh, so our A6120 drops out of the formation there due to the damage. So the thing is like your actual aircraft, when they receive damage, they will attempt to obviously head back to their airfield of, origin. The other thing is they could actually crash on the way there. They could potentially crash once they hit the airfield due to the damage. So you're not guaranteed that your aircraft are always going to survive a couple shots to the aircraft. Okay, let's see what our luck is like over here. So what we need to do then is burn through these defenders, and then we're going to be trying to hit the actual submarines in the port here amongst the other ships. Yes, the fun definitely begins in 42-43 when you play cat and mouse game with carriers. And it's the most deadly game. So at the end of the day, carriers are basically glass cannons. I mean, every ship here is a glass cannon. They can only take so much damage, and you really do not want to be on the receiving end of damage. Especially when it comes to carriers. They're not heavily armoured, and a couple of torpedoes, a couple of bombs into them could definitely knock them out for months at a time. For example, in one of my campaigns I had the carrier Hero actually torpedoed. She went to Hong Kong for repairs, and it must have taken about a month to repair some... I mean, the torpedo did do damage, but it was fairly light damage really, and that took about a month for her to be repaired and put back into action. So any bit of damage is really best avoided. Yeah, indeed, the cruiser boys. She is very dangerous. Okay. Right, won't be long till we burn through them. One additional one arrives. Can you imagine being the one guy here? Okay, so we're approaching the port of Manila. Let's see what we can actually hit. So a couple bombs hit the city. Yep, okay, I need to find myself some submarines to hit. Yes, okay, so we have a 800 kilogram bomb hit on the submarine there, Sturgeon. Okay, and that's the end of that first raid. There are additional raids to come in here, but that's very good. So we hit this submarine here. It's a shame that we only hit the one submarine, but we will have additional follow-ups. Okay, so we have the attack here on Clark. As you can see, 45 Zeros, 27 KI-48 1B Lilies. We have 18 KI-21 2A Sallies. Fantastic. Yeah, the 800 kilogram bombs. That's gonna hurt. Yes, definitely gonna leave a mark, isn't it? Definitely gonna leave a mark. Okay. Here we are over the target. So what we're trying to do here is actually knock out the airfield. Notice that there's a number of bombers here as well as other additional allied aircraft. We want to knock them out. Yeah, hitting the runway. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. B-35, Allied Heavy Bomber. Let's take a look at the results here then, shall we? Okay, so supposedly, in the air we destroy one P-40B Warhawk. 1 destroyed, 5 damage, 1 destroyed on the ground. Q-47, O-47 destroyed on the ground. Okay, so not major results here. But what we need to do is continue these attacks. You want to play War Thunder now. Okay, we're hitting a low star. Yep, we go straight through, as there's nobody else to challenge us. So notice that we have 29 KI-27Bs over here. That's good numbers, actually. It's a shame that we don't have anything to fight. So we can see here that we do damage 5 Blenheims. Obviously, this is just rough numbers. This is estimations from the actual pilots. We do inflict some decent damage on the actual airfield there. Yeah, general purpose, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Bad coordination between the squads. These squadrons. And there we go, deal with the buffaloes. Okay. So we do destroy some aircraft on the ground. Well, you didn't look, actually. I'm doing a series at the moment. A play-by email game versus THG. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to moan at Matrix, that'd be awesome. There we go, there's a buffalo down. One destroyed on the ground as well. I do hope that we see additional raids on Manila. I am sure that I gave every one of those aircraft orders, so hopefully we will see that coordination go ahead. It would be very... look where 4C is. Is it, whereabouts is it? I've not actually seen that. True, but I'm not gonna take that. Okay. Right, we can see the reconnaissance going out over here. But I want to see some additional raids on Manila. Really do need those. Oh dear, okay. Right, so we are losing a couple of D3A1s to the actual search there. I think you can have non-carrier aircraft take off from aircraft carriers. Yeah, relax, PM phase. True, but I want to see thousands of submarines destroyed. Ah, there we go. Fantastic. So we can see that we do have a couple Warhawks coming in here. Let's see what sort of damage we can do to them. Right, notice that we're firing on them from behind, which is very impressive. There we go, that's the results that we want to see. Okay, speed this up and see the results here. So we want to see submarines hit. That's what we want. There we go, Sailfish has been hit by a big-ass bomb. That's going to leave a mark. Right, 1 damage by flak. I'm sure we can handle that. Right, so each squadron has so far scored a hit. So we have knocked out a couple P-40E Warhawks. Yes, that's very true. I mean, there's a number of strategies here. I mean, we are doing a very quick and very rushed version of a setup. You can definitely spend a significantly longer amount of time. I mean, we have really condensed this just so we can actually get the stream going ahead, just so you guys can actually see how the game plays and also how a turn plays out. But yes, Lupus is absolutely correct there. Yeah, those submarines become an issue, exactly. But you are quite correct. On the first turn, you want to set every bomber that is in range to Manila to bomb the port. Some players even divert Kitabutai away from Pearl Harbor to strike Manila, which is a very interesting strategy. Completely valid, just because at the end of the day, the threat of the submarines is arguably more than that of the battleships of the Pacific Fleet. The reason for that is because at the end of the day, you want to protect your economy. That is the thing that will make or break Japan. Of course, destroying her carriers obviously would make or break Japan too. Yep, you're definitely pointing out some really good information there, Lupus. Thank you very much. Okay, so you can see here the Allies are sending out a couple of Hudsons here to attack the force at Kotobaru. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the issue that the Japanese suffered is that they had very, well, I'd say just pretty much abysmal ASW efforts, basically anti-submarine warfare. So we can see here a couple of the Hudsons have made it through to potentially attack the Congo. Yes, the bloody Dutch. There we go, how do we do? Right, since we actually stopped the attack, and we actually... Oh no, it did go ahead, but it actually... Ah, there we go, 4C. APD, APD, BC. See, again, this is like the information that is reported by pilots. It's like, for example, we have sightings of ships here. So supposedly they're spotted a couple destroyed transports as well as a battle cruiser. 4C did historically consist of the Prince of Wales battleship as well as the Repulse battlecruiser. Beautiful ships, absolutely beautiful. But this is good, so we actually destroyed 2 Hudsons and they don't manage to land a hit. Okay. So this is where it comes in handy when you set up combat air patrols. Basically how it works is you engage enemy aircraft as they enter the patrol zone. Ideally, you want to protect your ships like this. There we go. See, you know what I love is I like to hear the pilot chat. I think that really adds a lot to the immersion. I think it's so awesome. Just going to take advantage of this time here and have a little bit of water. Terrific. Okay, so we're doing some decent damage here. So about 6 of these Hudsons actually do make it through. Ooh, did we actually see a bomb hit on our transport there? Yeah, this is very dangerous. So this is what you want to avoid here, is your cargo ships being hit by enemy aircraft. Because at the end of the day, you need those supplies to make it through. You also need those troops to make it through to these landings. Without that, yeah, you're not going to make it very far, are you? So you can see that these bombers are driving away some of these fighters with their defensive fire. Of course, the bombers at the time also did have defensive armaments consisting of course, machine guns of different calibers, as well as cannons of obviously varying calibers. So then today, when you're in a fighter such as the Ka-27B, which is not exactly the biggest monster in the sky, yeah, you really do not want to be getting close to some of these bombers. Yeah, you need the ships in the end, exactly. Every ship is valuable. Absolutely every ship has a purpose, has value. You're not fighting a short war. You are fighting a long war. You are fighting the Pacific War. And you need to remember that. Okay, let's see. 1 destroyed, 5 damaged. So we are lucky there. We didn't actually receive any bomb hits, which is very, very nice. I was a little bit worried there. Yeah, big APs. APs basically being troop transports. TKs being tankers. AOs being basically oilers. Yeah, long war delusion again, I see. It's rather interesting. The Allied forces will absolutely outproduce you. No questions asked. The Japanese economy is a limited one, whereas the Allied one is basically, for all intents and purposes, unlimited due to the sheer economic might of the Allied forces combined. So as Japan, you have to very much juggle using your resources effectively, really choosing how you want to expand your industries in certain ways. Do you want to potentially produce more fighters? Do you want to potentially produce more bombers, etc., etc.? It sounded like a bomb hit, man. It might have been a miss, but it did... Yeah, there we go. We got a hit on one of our... Ooh. Severe fires below deck. That's not good. So these fighters are trying to drive off these bombers, but at the end of the day, these bombers with their defensive fire are getting through, or potentially they just bypass them. Okay, what's the damage here? So 2 Blenheims are destroyed, 1 damage. So we can see the transport there did take a hit, so we suffered 10 casualties. Okay, so we only have 4 fighters here to actually respond to the raid, so I don't think they're going to be able to stop it. It's going to hurt. Okay, that luck that we had earlier needs to keep going. I do believe the islands have limits, and we'll quickly double check after the turn resolution. Yeah, there we go, another 250-pound bomb. Severe casualties from the explosion. Though we're not seeing any here, which is rather interesting. Oh, wow, okay. So we can see here the base is being hit by 12 B-17D flying fortresses. I don't think these A5 M4 Claudes are going to do very much about that. Yeah, the defensive fire of these fortresses is pretty strong. Their hits are based more on luck. That's fantastic. Thank you very much there, Van Bishop. There we go, so we can see 2 of the B-17s are damaged there. Right, so we are seeing a couple B-17s heading out over here to Formosa. Yeah, they're hitting the runway, we see some of our aircraft damage. Ooh, we lose an aircraft there. Yeah, that's looking pretty rough. B-17s can do a lot of damage. So we do lose a G4M1 Betty on the ground. Ouch. Here we go. So this is superb. My, look at those numbers. 58 G3M2 Nels, with only a few zeros to cover them. But we are going to be hitting Force Z here, which is fantastic. It's funny actually, in my play-by-email game, I actually mucked this up by actually leaving a couple of these G3M2 Nels on night attack. Yeah, we have our strike in on Force Z. At least I hope this is 4C. Yes! Here we go, let's see what we find here. So we have the Prince of Wales, the Queen Elizabeth class. Let's see if we can put her under the water. And we scored a hit there with an 18-inch torpedo. Saki to the pilot. Let's see, repulse now. See how these pilots are misidentifying this, this actual craft. Right, we are missing here. Come on, we need to get some hits. Come on. Once again, the Prince of Wales. Yes, another hit is scored. Another hit. North Carolina. Come on, let's get some fish in the water here. Come on, we have the numbers, we have the technology. Right, she's been hit a multiple number of times now. Once more again. I don't think Prince of Wales is going to make it out here. We have seen large numbers of our squadrons being hit or damaged. Come on. One hit into her. Come on, let's make this happen. Oh, the vampire. Ooh, okay, so we can't hit a battle cruiser, but we can hit a destroyer. Well, okay. Come on, we need a hit. Ooh. So the Prince of Wales has been sunk. She goes down. 40 torpedo hits. I find it amazing that we couldn't actually hit the repulse, but we hit the vampire. I find that incredible. Okay, but we've taken down a British battleship. The British Empire loses one of her finest today, and the Prince of Wales was such a beautiful ship. So, we didn't manage to get a hit on the battlecruiser Repulse, but we still have a chance to destroy her in the future. But still, good result. Ideally, we would have seen both of them destroyed, but we'll take it. And the Prince of Wales sinks again. Indeed. And this is it. It's such... It's a shame, really. I mean, I know you can actually visit the sites to pay respects, but at the end of the day, these games are fantastic for the fact that it teaches history, but it does teach a appreciation of history, it teaches a respect. And at the end of the day, we are playing the game here, but this really, well, these events did happen. Obviously not exactly like this, and people did lose their lives. So, we can learn from that and pay our respects. Indeed, some ships are just doomed in every universe. Okay, so we can see that another Blenheim destroyed. Ah! Yes! Okay, so the midget submarine has actually hit the, the auxiliary ship Antares. I believe this is an ammunition carrier. Fantastic. See you later there, Lupus. Have a great one. See you on the Discord, my friends. Okay, I like the Prince of Wales more than Repulse. Prince Fort Bismarck, she deserved to survive, indeed. I do like the Prince of Wales, I think she's incredibly beautiful. I like the battle cruisers as well, I just think they're incredibly nice looking ships. Okay, so we have our bombardment off the coast of Cotoparu here. Range is down to 6,000 yards. Very close. 5,000 yards. So these are the potentially landing forces here. Right. Let's take a look then. Ooh. Right then, so we can see 4 to 5 coastal guns shot in defense here. None of our ships have received any hits. Or did they? Yeah, defensive guns fire at approaching troops and landing craft at 5,000 yards at 1,000 yards. As we do lose 119 casualties, 1 squad is destroyed, 7 disabled. So we may get those guys back. Okay, so you can see the troops are unloading over here on Kutubru. We do take an additional 76 casualties. Yep, we have the landings a bit on. 10 support troops lost in the surf during the unloading. I did will capture the base this turn. Okay. So now we see the ground phase. So yep, there we go. We have our 13th mixed brigade there attacking the Chinese corps. Yep, we forced them to retreat. Japanese deliberate attack. 29 casualties received for 1,088 inflicted. So you can see here we destroyed 83 squads, which is very good. I mean, it's very, very good. You always want to destroy rather than cause casualties. Okay, shock attack baton. Banzai! Honestly, I'd live for that sound effect. I think it's amazing. Right, the Allied bombardment attack at Kutuburu. So these Allied forces are bombarding the invading Japanese army troopers. They won't drive them back. It's just a case of we don't want them to really inflict much damage, which they don't. Okay. I love the weather graphics as well. Fantastic. There we go, we'll speed this up. Right, there we go. So an interesting turn then, and that is how a turn is processed in Warner Pacific. So we've had some interesting results there. So we didn't actually hit the battlecruiser Repulse, but we did sink the Prince of Wales. So ideally we'll be able to pick up the battlecruiser Repulse next turn. I see Vladivostok is up there. Is there any Russian participation in the game? Yes, there is. So we have the forces of the Soviet Union over here. I can actually see quite far into the Soviet Union itself. So how it works with the Soviet Union is, if we go over here, we have to maintain a certain level of garrison within Manchukuo, basically Manchuria and this area. If we go below 8,000 assault value, then there is a chance that each and every day the Soviet forces may activate. And trust me, you do not want to be fighting the Soviet Union. You do not want that. So yeah, as a Japanese player, you definitely have to avoid that situation. But yeah, let's take a look at the results over here. So we did lose a couple of aircraft, obviously, on search missions. Which sucks, but hey, this is war. Right. Port attack. We do have an option here. We can attack Pearl Harbor once again. Yes, they will attack historically if you actually keep the amount of garrison there. But they will attack on a certain date. I want to see XTRG versus the entire Soviet Union. Mate, it wouldn't be a contest. Indeed. Bombardment. Okay, so we can actually see the midget submarine carriers. Oh, I forgot to move them, actually. Oh well, we'll move out of that. We'll be able to organise them. See, these midget submarine carriers are very interesting craft. Let's take a look then. So we inflicted some pretty heavy damage. Look at those numbers. Inflicted some pretty good damage. It would have been nice to have, rather than sank those battleships, actually had them critically damaged. So they would have taken actually more room up in... There we go. So we have just outside of Midway, the Oiler, and 2 destroyers. We have the Oilers over here, the replenishment task force, to refuel Kitabutai. There's a small task force there. Now, we actually don't see any American flat tops at this moment in time. We will endeavour to search for them. As far as it goes across the Empire, things are obviously in motion. We have our invasion forces moving. We have, obviously, things in motion. We did take Bataan Island. Okay. So you can see that we have severe storms over the Hong Kong area. After the last one of the East playthrough, the Soviets won't... See, that was very close. I mean, we were very, very much breaking under the pressure at the end of that series. It's a miracle that we actually made it towards the end there. And, yes, we did win a victory point battle. Well, we won the campaign due to victory points, but yeah, on the actual battlefront, the Red Army was definitely driving its way through the Wehrmacht. And there wasn't anything we could really do there. Ah, dear. So, that is how you process a turn. Now, of course, as the game goes on, you obviously need to decide on your objectives. Say you're playing against the AI is going to definitely fight you tooth and nail. But there's no challenge like that of a human opponent. So let's take a look then. So we obviously have the war in China here. So for a second turn, you have a lot of decisions. A tactic that was pointed out by Lupus earlier on is, for example, you could have Kitabutai, rather than attack Pearl Harbor, you could have them actually attack over here in Manila instead, where you could cause additional damage to the actual forces there. So we did actually hit 2 of these submarines, which is quite nice. Not majorly amazing results, but still quite nice results. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take a look at the operations report. So when you actually take a look at this, it gives you an idea of everything that's gone on. It gives you an idea of what's going on. It also tells you, like, reports, which is very handy. As we can see here, the Coast Watchers report Harbour at Hong Kong is reported empty. 1 ship in Pokoi, 2 ships, 1 ship near Hong Kong. Our task force has merged. The submarine I-121 lays minefield at Singapore and sets course for Takao. Yeah, lays minefield. Fantastic. Right, so you can see our commander over here is killed, Akira. Well, the pilot is killed. We have a reported hit on a allied submarine. Okay, so we can see that we're taking photos. Okay, lots of reconnaissance there. Right, here we go. So you can see here the damaged A6720 from the Tainan KUS-1 is missing. Pilot reported killed. The A6720 from the 3rd KUS-1 Detachment A is written off. So basically the pilot survives, but the plane doesn't. So the plane is written off. Yeah, these D3A1s are written off. The B5N2 Kates are written off. The damaged D3A1 from Cargo 2 does not return. Pilot reported killed. Ah, so you can see he actually bails out with wounds, but he's rescued. Fantastic. That is definitely what we like to see there. And Task Force 3 detects PYY for Catalinas, yeah. Those things are amazing. They have some fantastic range. That's what we like to see here. Okay, yeah, the damaged D3M2 Nell, missing, reported killed. Written off, damaged on landing. So we had the KI-44 Tojo. Tojos are amazing. So we catch up Bataan. Yep, and then these actual squadrons take their replacements at Yokohama/Yokosuka. There we go. Replacements, upgrades. Very nice. A lot going on here. So, the battleship Maryland is reported to have been sunk near Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. West Virginia reported sunk. Prince of Wales reported to have been sunk near Mersing. The Jarvis and the Schlich how the heck you pronounce it, reported sunk. So notice that we did hit the vampire. We've no idea she went down, but I'd imagine she's very heavily damaged. Overall, quite nice results there. So if we actually go ahead and take a look at the combat results, we can obviously see a summary of the battles. So as you can see every battle, and obviously the reported results there. So obviously we take a look over here then. We definitely hit the battleships. It would have been nicer rather than have them sink, have them remain afloat, but obviously very heavily damaged. Yeah, not too many destroyers actually survive a torpedo hit. You are definitely right. Hello there, Datimak. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, you know what? I really love the retroness of this game, but it is something that is just completely unmatched on the market. There's nothing like this. And I do adore this game. I think it's amazing. It's one of these things where I don't know everything about it, and I'm so very happy I get to learn. Okay, so we had the hit at Pearl Harbor. Yes, indeed, Grigsby's War in the Pacific, Admiral's Edition. Okay. So the interesting thing is we don't have any reports or sightings of carriers here. So we do have to try and proceed through this. So I think what we'll do then is, let's see, we'll try and set things up for a second turn. So we do have Force over this way. Yeah, so you can see the aircraft level here, stack. So we'd have to move out some aircraft to make things more snug, really. Okay, so let's actually go back to Formosa over here. We're going to take that G4M1 Betty squadron. We're going to have them retargeted. Okay, so we'll have them using bombs, and I'm going to have them target... I'd say we'll target Manila on a port attack. We'll keep that up. Have them down to about 10,000 feet. There we go. So this is where it's going to really matter when you have your combat air patrols. Basically, as the allies, obviously they understand war has begun. So we do have our invasion forces over here. That's cool. Right, so these will go ahead. We'll see additional strikes over this way. Let's take a look at our G3M2 Nels. Yeah, so they could do with actually having that altered. So what we'll do then is reduce that to... Let's see, how's that look? Okay, there we go. Reduce that to... Yep, there we go, 220, 220. Though, let's see. 230? No. How does that look? No, it's going the opposite way. I need a projector. Reduce that range. Oh, that's fantastic, actually. That sounds pretty awesome. Right. There we go, that's what we need. Range is 16. So we'll have that range at about 15. So we'll set everybody to do the same here. So set all G3N2 Nels. Right, so we took down the Prince of Wales. Hopefully we can do the same with the Battlecruiser Repulse. Okay. What we're going to do here is just get the bare minimum going, and we'll go from there. So we have, obviously, our forces underway. We have our troops marching down to Hong Kong. Not a huge amount of things. And what I'm doing here is basically we're going to process things just so we can get things up and going. I'd like to get maybe another turn in here, so we can actually take a look at the results. Okay, so these guys are going to be moving out. That's fine, I'm going to allow that. The reason for that is midget submarines are, well, midget sub-carriers are rather impressive. I would actually like them to actually move in the direction of the supposed American carriers, which is out this way. Also, these submarines are heading out on full speed. Ideally, we get lucky and find one of them. Now, let's take a look over here. So we are set up for another attack on Pearl Harbor. What I'm going to do is actually move... we'll move a little bit further out. Okay. From that position. Okay, yeah, I think we're ready to go. We have our oilers, obviously, for the replenishment. We do have our Wake Invasion Task Force on its way. We do have these submarines here, but I would leave these on maneuvering, well, yeah, maneuvering, have more here, until you actually have an idea of where the enemy is. Now, considering we did damage these fighter aircraft, it's probably worthwhile attacking again, just to try and destroy them on the ground. Right, I'm happy with that. So what we'll do then is we'll get another turn resolution into the stream here. I'm sure you guys will see a result of a second attack on Pearl Harbor. Can definitely inflict some very damaging results there. I mean, this is it. So great. Ah, Van Bishop. Folks, there's been real thanks to XTRG. Gotta take care of the missus. I'll end up like a pilot. Have a great one there, my mate. Have a good one, my dude. Okay, so you can see what's going on here. You can see pilots being assigned. Obviously, aircraft being assigned to different missions. We've drawn depleted units, planning major raids. Yeah, so we should be able to get through this turn resolution, and that should bring us quite nicely towards the end of the stream. Unfortunately, I've only been given a time slot of 3 hours, so it's been a rather intriguing challenge trying to fit in how to actually play Warner Pacific as well as getting actually a turn resolution in here. So you've got to imagine that this is by no means a proper way of setting on your first turn, but at least you actually get an idea of how to do so if you've never actually seen Warner Pacific. And most importantly, if you've never seen Warner Pacific, at least you have now, and you have no excuse not to pick her up. She's on sale, and she's well worth it. For £20 you could have a game that you could play a turn a day for the next 4 to 5 years, and you'd still probably barely finish it. Okay, let's see how things turn out, right? Ooh, I want to see some good results here. Ah, there we go, we have a bombardment. Ooh, so 19 Japanese casualties there. 18 coastal guns fire in defense. We don't inflict any casualties in the Allied forces, which is a shame. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome there, Grey Knight. I'm sure you'd love it. And you can also join me on my Discord, and yeah, you'll find plenty of support there, or even on the Matrix forums. There's a great community behind this game that definitely welcomes new players as well. Don't be afraid of something so complex, really. So in today, that complexity really does allow you to really experiment, which is awesome. Okay, we'll speed this up here. I love the weather graphics. Right, so we can see another 2 B-17s attacking the island over here. Luckily, they don't do anything. You can see the weather in the hex there was heavy rain, which is probably inhibiting their strike. I mean, this is at night as well, so it's even harder for them. Right, we can see the task force unloading here. So they're moving in to engage the shore defenses as they unload their troops. 7 coastal guns, but they inflict no damage. Indeed, might as well finish the trilogy. Well now, what about the Grigsby's bombing the Reich? You gotta finish that quadrilogy. Okay. Now we're in the day. Yeah, again, some luck there holds out. Ah, there we go, we're flying combat air patrol. Right, so we have our midget submarine here, and we can see a large, what is this? Mugford and Helm. Allied escorts, yeah. Okay, so we see the destroyers Blue, Mugford, and Helm attempted to actually track down our midget submarine HA-14. Okay, now the surprise factor has definitely passed here. So the Allied forces will definitely respond in kind. So we are going to see lots of losses. We are going to see, obviously, the amount of Allied aircraft increase as well. Apologies, my voice is starting to get a bit dry. There we go. So you can see that we have a lot of bad weather. Definitely inhibiting our aircraft here at the moment. There we go. So we do have a number of our search aircraft out there over Pearl Harbor, which is obviously a major risk. Whether you'd want to do that or not is up to you, but obviously having reconnaissance does help in targeting. Okay, let's speed this up. Right, so we have a... Ooh, okay. So this is what happens when basically squadrons don't coordinate very well, is they can end up alone. So you can see here this G4M1 Betty squadron is going to be mauled by these fighters, unless they're very lucky. I mean, a couple of them broken off. Okay, so they're not at a much lower altitude. Yeah, we're going to lose a couple of them there. Okay, so 4 of our G4M1 Bettys were destroyed, 3 damaged. Oh wow, we do hit the submarine Sailfish with another bomb there. Fantastic. That's 3 submarines we've hit with bombs now. Here we go. We have the second attack on Pearl Harbor. But you can see here that the number of American aircraft defending the island has definitely increased. Though we do have 96 A6M2 Zeros. And the most important thing is, I think we're flying at a higher altitude here. Let's take a look. Yep, firing on them from behind. Very, very good. This is actually going to be a very large air battle. Yeah, again, firing from behind. That's really how you want to have these air engagements go. If you hit them from behind, you can definitely take them out. Okay. Definitely a fantastic game. Yep, low on ammunition. Right. So this is turning out to be a very large, yep, a second attack on Pearl Harbor. I mean, this is definitely something that you can do as a player, and this is one of the beautiful things about this game, is the fact that a second attack didn't happen in real life, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have to happen in your game. You can definitely do this. So let's actually take a look at the results here. We'll speed this up. Okay. So this will be proceeding towards the actual attack on the port here. Come on, let's break through. I mean, this is it. The numbers of defending aircraft is much higher. So what we'll do then is... There we go. Skip that. So you can see that we've lost a couple zeros. Right, Nevada has been hit. Tennessee has been hit. Very nice. So we lose a Val to flak. Oklahoma's been hit by a bomber. Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it, really? Ooh, California's been hit by a large bomber. Right, Nevada hit once more. So we're actually seeing some pretty nice results here. I mean, the thing is, it's like, depending on how well we do with the torpedoes. I mean, then again, we should have some torpedoes. I don't know if every single squadron will have enough torpedoes. Ideally, they do. But the D3A1 valves are definitely going to do some good damage here. Exactly. XTRG, Pearl Harbor 2 Electric Boogaloo. Ooh, I think we hit a cruiser mine layer there. Okay, let's speed up these results and take a look. So, look at these numbers then. So, to actually challenge us in the air, we had 6 P-26A... yep. Then we had 20 P-36A Mohawks, 28 P-40B Warhawks, 4 F-4F-3 Wildcats, and then an SNJ-3 Texan. So you can see here that we do lose 2 X6M2 we lose a B5N2K, 2 damage, 24 D3A1 valves damaged, 2 of them destroyed by flak. So, I mean, in all honesty, this is actually pretty good results considering the numbers here. So 3 P-26As are destroyed, 3 P-36A Mohawks destroyed, 2 P-40B Warhawks are destroyed, 5 damaged, 1 Warhawk destroyed on the ground, Catalina destroyed on the ground, 2 SPD Dauntless destroyed on the ground, a O-47A destroyed on the ground. And yeah, look at this then. So we don't seem to have scored any torpedo hits. I think we might have actually run out of torpedoes there potentially. So Nevada's hit by an additional 8 bombs, Tennessee 2 bombs, Oklahoma 4 bombs, California 5 bombs, Arizona 5 bombs, Cruiser Mine Layer hit by a bomb, Light Cruiser Raleigh, I don't know how you pronounce that, 2 bombs, yeah, Wards, heavy fires, heavy damage, downs, or downs, however, yeah, downs, hit by a bomb and is sunk. The Minneapolis, heavy cruiser Minneapolis is hit by a bomb. You can see here, repair, shipyard hit, airbase hit, runway hit. Very nice. Okay, hitting a low star once more. So we had thunderstorms in the area then. But we still got in there, we did do some nice damage. That's very good. Okay, attack at Georgetown. Yeah, never a good idea to have your bombers in there unescorted. So 5 of them are destroyed. I mean, this is the issue. Ooh, 55 of them. Bloody hell. Yeah, they will probably burn up if they don't outright sink. You are quite correct there. There we go. How do minis work in this game? Is there validity in turning a Japanese straits into a minefield? Well, how mines basically work is, what you need cruiser mine layers on, basically mine layers in general. Oh, hello. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have a large incoming raid on Kiributai. Yeah, we're seeing some Havoc's attack here. Karga. Wow, so Karga's actually hit by a bomb. Oh my god. Now this is some alternate history. Oh wow. Okay, that is actually fantastic. Well done to the American forces there. They actually scored a hit on... Fantastic. Wow, I'm impressed by the American AI there. That's something you don't see often. Exceptional. I mean, this is it. This is the result of what may happen should you choose to stay longer than historically. I mean, the second turn we do not have a surprise attack bonus. So that's actually rather impressive. I'm quite impressed by that. Again, these colors don't run indeed. Okay, here we go. Another attack on Manila. There we go. Stingray has been hit by a bomb. Massive explosive damage. Langley has been hit by a bomb. Very nice. Severe casualties. There we go. Pickerel. Very nice. I mean, these submarines have been hit by... Oof. We're actually doing some pretty good damage here. Very nice. Very, very nice attack there. So, 2 P-26s destroyed, 2 P-40E Warhawks destroyed. So we hit Stingray, 1 bomb, heavy damage. Langley. So this is an auxiliary aircraft tender. Pickerel. Very nice. Yes, mine was definitely part of the game and it's very, very handy. Basically, you can have them out in open water, but they do decay at a very fast rate. So you do obviously need to spend a lot of time to build that up and to maintain it. It's a hell of a lot easier to maintain it in ports than it is obviously to maintain it out there in the open. But it can be done. But yeah, mines are vicious little things. And can do a lot of damage. Okay, so we can see that we have a nice response there to the allied bombers. They do make it through. Now it's a shame because I only have about 5 minutes, so I want to try and get in the attack on Battlecruiser Repulse over here. I am running a play-by-email game, and we're still in December at the moment. I think the first I've played myself is like 42-ish. But yeah, if you follow my channel, you'll be able to see the play-by-email game as we go through each and every day. I feel like it could take longer than the real thing. I mean, if you did a turn every single day, yeah, that's going to take you a couple of years. The thing is, though, the game does become much faster once you have a lot of things under control. The first few turns as the Japanese are obviously quite intensive, but after that, once you have things flowing and going ahead as you'd like, then it's not too bad. Okay. Yep, so we don't see an attack on the Battlecruiser Repulse. So we do see the Allied forces trying to hit out. Let's see, so we have 4 ships here. Right, that's rather interesting. So I'd imagine these are potentially the damage ships, and these may actually be the destroyers with the Repulse. That's rather intriguing. So they're still trying to sally out an attack. Makes sense. They've got to disrupt these landers, haven't they, at the end of the day? What's the name of the third-party view for managing the Japanese economy / R&D? That would be the Warner Pacific Tracker. Very, very much recommend that. Okay, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed this. I apologise that it's been in a very different format to what you're probably used to with other streams. The reason for that is the sheer complexity of the game just basically necessitates that. But I hope you have enjoyed this, because at the end of the day, One of the Pacific is a gem. There's nothing else like that. That's rather an interesting event. Supposedly that damage was just minimal. No damage really sustained. Very nice. We have 1 bit of system damage over here. So we do lose a AA gun. But other than that, yeah, we're okay. That's really nice. And again, no sighting of American carriers here. Okie dokie, but we do obviously inflict further damage. So, thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed this just as much as I've enjoyed presenting it. And I do hope that you actually do go ahead and decide to purchase a copy of One of the Pacific for yourself. I know I'm pushing it, but I want you guys to join in, and I need more people to talk to about this game. So thank you so very much. If you'd actually like to see more of my content, you can find me over here on YouTube. I'll post a link there. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, have a great day or evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Goodbye for now, guys. Until next time. Peace.